You're now listening to episode 97 of Signed In, an Xbox 360 podcast, recorded on July 22nd, 2012. Find us online at signedinpodcast.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In. I am Jeremy Superpro 33.
I am Craig Prop Dresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
Is that how this works?
I think
it's been
so.
a while.
It's been a month.
Been
It's been a month from a proper show.
Yeah, since we rocked and rolled.
We had 2 private chats.
That's right.
We had Azura's Wrath and Max Payne 3.
Yes, we got very private.
If you haven't caught those, go back and listen to them because they are private.
Yes.
And we want to include you.
Yes.
But a regular
privates.
show proper
Proper lock. I don't know.
just hasn't happened.
I'm a little green.
It's all right. It hasn't happened for a month, so we're back now, and we've had a busy month in that downtime.
Yeah.
Not overload on games come
Let's
out.
make some noises.
Well, Sean and I have been busy. I don't know what you've been doing. Obviously, working on your bird sounds. Sean, you're back from Vegas.
Yes.
Now, happily married.
Yes. Happily married.
I love the ominous pause before that.
Been about 2 weeks now.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's good.
So everything's good.
Oh, yeah. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah. I haven't put my notice in yet. So
I don't know if you know how this works. We'll talk about this when you're done. It doesn't work that way.
I know how it works. But I love it.
But everything went well.
Yeah, everything went. It was awesome.
All right.
Without a hitch.
Congratulations.
Beautiful weather.
Except you two.
Huh?
You got hitched.
I
get
did
hitched.
get hitched.
That was
I
that
did
was
get
my
hitched.
pun.
As I say, watch what you're saying.
All right.
I didn't play
I'm out
any.
for the show.
I
Thanks.
didn't. He's out. Oh,
I wish you could drop it.
You could drop the mic there.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, it was all right.
Good.
Didn't get to play any games that week.
Well, the week you were gone,
Yeah.
we've had 3 others.
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't give me an excuse because I was only gone for a week and I still didn't play either much.
And you're back.
I played a little bit. Yeah, we were in San Diego for the San Diego Comic Con and went a little crazy. And I was supposed to play a lot of games and I didn't play hardly anything.
Nah,
There was a lot of other stuff going on.
Supposed to?
Well,
Who put you on track?
okay. I went.
That was your own goal,
here's the
right?
thing. I went to the Resident Evil party. Thanks to the Capcom folks,
Whoops.
because we went to the Resident Evil party, which they had Resident
Did you
Evil
dress up as
6.
Jill?
I did dress up as Jill. Probably why they kicked me out. Well, I was showing dong, so it wasn't a good costume.
Nah, sure.
Well, that's
No.
pretty straightforward.
So they had
Jill
this like
costume.
club, right? So they got these like stripper. They're not strippers.
What?
They were go-go dancing
There you go.
zombies. Sorry.
Yeah. Go dancing zombies.
Yeah, they were
even.
zombies. They were
That's
all in
even
zombie
better.
outfits.
Awesome.
And it was really dark up there. There was like 7 stations set up for nerds to play Resident Evil 6, among the party. And you couldn't hear or see anything. So I was like, this is a terrible environment. So I didn't do anything there. But thanks for the party invite nonetheless, I guess.
Yeah.
I got to check out some Transformers Fall of Cybertron. Is that the
Nice.
name of it?
Yep.
Yeah. Looks awesome.
Cool.
It
Cool.
looks really great. I don't remember. I signed an NDA when I went in, a non-disclosure agreement when I went in. I don't remember what the date was on it, so I don't know what I can or can't say at this point.
I thought you were just going to say you don't remember the game at all.
I'm sure I'm able to talk about it, but just in case, I'll tell you it looks awesome, and I look forward to it because I got to play a little bit of multiplayer and saw some single player stuff
Excellent.
going on.
Nice.
There, so
Cool.
It looks great.
Cool.
I mean, it looks like the other one, but better. I'm trying to think what else I saw there. That was pretty much it. I did a lot of other stuff outside
Right,
of, around the con and afterwards, and I got Annie's boobs
busy
on my
con.
head.
You did.
Yes.
That's jealous.
We went to the NBC party one of the
Man.
nights, and they had the monkey from Community there, and I got to have it on my head, and it was the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
But for other
It
people
is.
that don't watch Community, it's also the Hangover 2 monkey.
It was the monkey in Hangover 2.
So then you could be like, ooh.
I will say
now
this.
That still means nothing to me.
Oh, no.
She's a prolific monkey. She's been in...
You've got this Venn diagram that you just made where we have the circle,
Craig's out of it.
the circle of people that watch Community, and then you tried to add the circle of people who watch Hangover 2, and there are a few people there in the middle who are really excited, and then there's me. I'm in like a triangle over
Right.
here.
You're reading a book.
I like the
This
picture
monkey has appeared in no books.
I like the picture of just holding the balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a prolific monkey. Been in like 30 or 40 movies
Yes.
and TV shows. It's
Yes.
She's all over the place, and she was awesome.
And she's gonna be in that new show too.
She is. That Animal Practice or whatever it
Yeah.
is. That's what they were promoting. She had scrubs on.
It's awesome.
It's a TV show on television, Craig.
Interesting.
A sitcom. Situation comedy is what they call them. There's a situation, and usually there's comedy.
Usually.
Usually.
Eh.
If there's not, usually it's
About
gone
half the
within
time.
I think
first
Annie's
couple
boobs
episodes.
was in the Rockford Files.
No, it
I
wasn't.
don't know.
That's impossible.
That's in the background at a zoo.
That didn't
How
happen.
old is she?
Yeah, I don't. They can live to be like 80.
No, they can't. They can live to be 40.
Wow,
We
I
got the
was
scoop.
close.
She is, by the way, 18. So I do know.
Oh, okay. So
She would have to be pretty much towards the end of her life if she was in Rockford Falls.
All right.
Let's not think
The
about that. That's
remake
sad.
that didn't get.
Anyway, so that happened. I got to meet a bunch of other
Lord.
people. It was
I
awesome.
know.
It was a good time. And it was a very entertaining time, but it was a lot of non-comic related things, you know.
Much like
Seeing-
Comic-Con.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
Seeing the cast from Breaking Bad, seeing the cast from The Hobbit walk by us, walking around all the True Blood people I don't care about.
True Blood.
But from HBO.
True Blood.
A lot of people care about it.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not into the vampire thing. So,
Yeah.
But we survived and I'm back.
I just wish you would have played more games. Damn it!
I know. I did play some games. All right, look. I have to talk about.
You played way more games than I have.
I
that's
played
for
some
sure.
Amazing Spider-Man that I'm going to talk about today.
Lucky.
Brave.
Yes.
Disney Pixar's Brave, I think is the actual title
Yes.
that we have to give. I like how they put that on the game.
Well, yeah.
So, they get their branding in.
Well, now you can make your own game, Brave. And it's not called Disney
That's
Pixar's
true.
Brave.
I bet you couldn't.
And so,
Have you seen all the direct-to-video
You could
like
try.
Brave ripoffs?
No, but it doesn't surprise me.
Oh,
I love
there's
it.
a ton. I
love that
it.
stuff.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway,
Ripoffs.
yeah.
I played some Walking Dead episode 2.
yes, got some of that as well.
And I got a little bit of indie in there, too.
I got some bad news.
What about
on
you
that
guys?
Walking Dead.
I just got a couple indie games, and then in addition for XBLA, Spelunky and Quantum Conundrum, and then just a little touch in on LA Noire.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes,
Flashback.
yes, because I like to stay topical.
You do.
Again, here's the Venn diagram. I'm on the show for all those people outside the Venn diagram.
You are.
Yes.
You're on the edge. But only because you
That's the way I
keep
want
everything
to
out.
think about it.
It's actually a much hipper term than what you deserve. What about you, Sean?
I went off-roading with Jeremy McGrath, and then I actually played
Like,
the game
personally?
too. Yeah, when I was out in Vegas.
Nice.
We went flying.
Holy
he had
shit.
a monster truck,
We-
man. We were just hammering monsters down and hitting the red rock.
Hammer and Monster down.
Yeah.
See-
Not like monsters, drinks.
Oh.
No, I didn't go out with. I feel like I know him because I got to play his
Because
game.
he talks to you a lot.
Yes, he
in
does.
The game.
He talks a lot in the game, but I turned that off. I got
Good
to
idea.
play a little Steel Battalion heavy ammo.
Armor.
Armor.
That's what we're here for.
It's a good game. That's a Connect game, and I also got to play Brave,
Cool.
which I found out is better with Connect, but we'll talk about that.
Okay. I didn't mess around with anything on the Connect on it. I kind of forgot.
Yeah, but we'll talk
Surprise.
I'd be interested.
about it. But it's better.
Yeah, I know.
It's better with
Shocker.
Connect. It's better with Connect.
Hang on.
And some super amazing wagon adventure.
Yes.
Yes.
Fun time. Buy that game. Never mind. We'll talk about it.
Are we done with that?
Let's
review
talk
now?
about
No, we got to talk about that game.
Should we just start then with indie games?
Let's do it.
You want
Drop
to talk
it.
about some super amazing wagon adventure?
Yes.
Yes.
From Sparse Vector.
80 points.
That's right.
The best 80 points you probably spend this year.
I like to
In
call
my
him
opinion.
Sparse Vector.
Well, that's why we didn't have you
would.
say it.
It's good to be back.
Is it?
But we'll see.
Did you miss the family?
We'll see.
So ostensibly, the game is sort of a parody of the classic game Oregon Trail,
Yes.
wherein you try to survive traveling across the Old West in a wagon.
Yeah.
But in the original Oregon Trail, crazy things would happen to you, like you would suddenly come down with
Dysentery?
dysentery.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was trying to think of a.
That's what you would always die by.
Yeah.
Yes, someone would do that, or you'd be trying to ford across the river, and then it would flood, and
You'd lose all your ox.
You'd lose, yeah, exactly. Or you'd have to go out hunting for food every once in a while.
No.
So this takes that idea and then ramps it up with a little bit of side-scrolling shooter and
Yeah.
a little bit of Techno Kitten Adventure.
A lot of ADD.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a twin stick shooter involved there too
Yes.
when you go into the survival mode type
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, because you get basically a party of 4 people.
Right.
That
3.
you 3 people. I'm sorry,
right.
and you can create them.
I highly recommend randomizing to get 1 boy and 1 girl.
You get so you can get the love story going on.
Well, because you heal.
Yeah.
When they do it,
That's right.
they heal.
They do the GTA thing where they
exactly.
like fall in love, and you quarter, you go out and get things, and then get attacked by buffalo.
And I'm sorry,
then-
they go to relax.
yes,
Yeah.
in the wagon, and
wagon.
then your health goes up, which I
Yes.
thought was hilarious.
Yes.
There's
Very
so
cool.
much funny about this game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the ADD that you're talking about. It reminds me a lot of like WarioWare, if anyone's played that Nintendo game, because just that quick staccato of like craziness and random stuff, and you have to read real quick, and then all of a sudden you're doing something else.
Yeah,
That's my only problem with the game.
Is it the quick read?
Is the quick read, because sometimes it's a lot of text, and then sometimes it's really quick. So I like that, but I bought it right off the bat. But I really like the whole little text and all that stuff. Like second trip, you got gangrene. I'm like, great. My guy's down to 1 heart. I'm like,
Right.
awesome. Can I
But if
just
they
throw him out
survive,
to the alien?
then a couple boards later they'll heal back up.
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
So that's kind of
and everything's randomly generated too. So
Yeah.
every time you play, well,
not
for the most part,
completely. Like there is a major plot line that you go through, and you go like there are a few beats that you always hit, but
Yeah.
but there is a lot of randomization in terms of like exactly how you
what
get
attacks
there.
you,
Right.
how they attack you,
Right, and
What-
you can suddenly have like 4 stages to get to the next beat instead of going directly to the next
Yes.
beat. So you never really know how your game is going to play out. That is true.
Very
And,
cool.
and we're talking about the little vignettes. I mean, it's basically like anywhere from 5 to 30 seconds of basically this screen that you're dealing with and this threat. And you clear out that threat,
Your
and
axle
then,
is broken. Just shot of your wagon
right,
for
right.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
and that's it. And then
Yeah.
they'll give you another title card,
Yeah.
like explaining more about the story, and then you go to the next section of whatever you're doing now. Like shooting buffalo,
Right.
and then getting mad buffalo, and I think I was up to my like 5th or 6th screen in
Oh
a
my
row
God.
of buffalo.
Yeah,
The buffalo.
a
They're like the
buffalo.
buffaloes are still mad.
That's awesome.
And then
I
so they
didn't get
kept-
that. I
it was
just
hilarious.
had like tons and tons of like the herd of buffalo just kept getting
Yeah.
bigger and bigger.
I had that, and then I finally got one where they were like flying through the air. Something was happening. I can't remember what was going on. I can't remember at this point, but it, shit just gets crazy,
Yeah.
and they just keep. It was fun because I played it like 3 or 4 times, and
Yeah.
every time it was just different, or there was a
Yep.
different.
I've played it like a dozen times, and
Yeah.
there's always something crazy that I didn't expect, or I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
no,
It's like when
I
I
don't
was-
want to do that.
I was getting berries the one time, and it's like, oh, you attracted a bear. Well, you
Right.
killed that bear. You attracted other bears. So I was like, oh, crap. So then the next time I played it, I actually made it through without nothing. And then the other time I played it, oh, now these rabid squirrels are after you.
Yeah, fuck those rabbit
And they're
squirrels.
just flying at you.
Sound like the wolves, because the wolves
the-
are come like from every direction, and
Yeah.
I was having problems getting
Yeah.
them, and
Yeah,
They were pissing me off.
The wolves can be a pain, but
and then there are unlocks you can get for different wagon types for
yeah.
doing things in the
and
game.
the wagons are very different. I don't
Are
know
they?
if you've got.
No, I haven't.
I've unlocked like maybe
either.
5 of them or something.
Nice.
So some of them move differently. Some of them contain like start you with a different weapon.
Nice,
Cool.
You want me to spoil any of them?
Nah, probably not.
Okay. All
We'll
right.
let everybody experience
Okay.
it. We can
There
talk
you go.
about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it for other
But
people.
yeah, so it's like a real good incentive actually to
Keep
go through.
playing.
Yeah, because it's random whether or not you unlock these things. There are some that you get for example, completing the game, and then you also unlock like survival modes where it's just the twin stick shooter. You shoot wolves for as long as you can. If you get gold stars on all of them, you unlock one. But a lot of them are unlocked by just hitting random scenes.
Nice.
And so, you can if you read the descriptions, you can kind of get an idea for a lot of them as
That's
to
cool.
maybe which area in the story it might appear. And so, you can kind of massage it a little bit. I at least got one that way.
Cool.
I know that, but
It's a great game.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
a lot of fun.
And I highly recommend everybody check it out and play it as much as you can.
And then the graphics are just flat out like Oregon Trail, essentially. But it's very, 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 very pixelated.
Yeah.
But there's like that one part where give that girl a flower, and then you have to walk over to her.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to do everything. I love that. It's very literal.
I love it.
Oh, it's a fur trader. Now it's a bandit. I loved it. Like I played right when I played it, it just like I died the first time and then I bought it because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna play through this game
Right.
a couple different times.
Multiple times.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Cool.
Excellent. The other indie game that I played in the intervening time, well, I played a bunch of them. The other one that I want to talk about is Penny Arcade's on the Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness 3.
Yes.
Which is a surprise. Not a surprise. I actually knew it was going to be coming to indie games, but it may be a surprise to some who remember the first 2 chapters of Penny Arcade's on the Rain-Slick Precipice of Darkness, which came out as XBLA games from Hothead Studios,
Yes.
who later made the Deathspank series. But then they were working on their Deathspank series, and they said, we don't really want to continue working on this. And, you know, the first 2 kind of had medium reception anyway. So they didn't do great on XBLA. But this one was done by Zeboyd Games, a name you might recognize from awesome RPGs such as Breath of Death 7 and Cthulhu Saves the World.
Yes.
And this sells for 400 points, so it's probably the priciest one that Zeboyd has done. Or is it right?
I think that's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
But it's a huge file, and it is definitely worth the 400 points. So it's done in a 16-bit style. What would that be? Super Nintendo era. Super Nintendo era RPG. Side-scrolling, turn-based thing. It's set in the Penny Arcade world. It is a sequel to the first 2. However, I believe that because I didn't play the second chapter, the second episode. I played the first episode, and I didn't really care to play the second episode. But I felt kept up enough that I could figure out what was going on for this third episode. Some of the neat things that they have done for it is the classes system. So, of course, it's an RPG. You have different classes, like the wizard and the brawler and all that stuff, except they all have goofy names and they get goofy named powers and things that do goofy things. However, on top of those base classes that everybody just kind of starts off with, you also have the option to add class medals. And so eventually you get like 2 different slots, and you have like, I don't know, like a dozen different class medals or something like that. And so you can switch those around, and they'll grant you additional powers that you can then choose from. And so you get like this whole smorgasbord of powers, and you can actually synchronize classes really nicely so that things kind of work well together. There was one that was a Crabomancer, who's a crab magician, whose attacks are largely based around defense. So he boosts his defense, and then he has like attacks that instead of using strength to determine how hard they hit, they use the defense to determine how hard they hit.
Nice.
Then I teamed that up with Dinomancer. Or a sorcerer, maybe. I can't remember exactly the name for it. But you can change yourself into dinosaurs for a certain period of time, but you lose complete control for those turns, and they have like pre-programmed attacks. And there's one like I think the Triceratops or something increases its defense. So I would cast that dinosaur. I'd turn into a Triceratops right away and increase my defense, and then I'd be ready to go at it with the Crabomancer attacks. And I really liked that. The classes level up on their own. If you have the metal equipped, it'll level up faster. But the ones that are unequipped are still leveling up, just at a slower pace. So they're still gaining more abilities. So it's not like, I've been using these metal for 8 levels. I can't, why would I switch?
I can't ever go back.
Yeah, exactly. These are going to be too weak because it's not random encounters. You see the enemies where they are, and you can go, although they do have a joke with random encounters in there. I'm not going to spoil that, but look for it because it's pretty funny. Although they're still not random. So there's a limited number of battles that you can fight throughout the game.
Okay.
Like it's a finite number of battles that you're going to do. The classes were great. The combat timing was really spectacular. So it's a turn-based fighter, a turn-based RPG, but it's got a timeline bar, which other RPGs have had as well. This timeline bar, however, is broken into 3 parts. So there's the wait part, which is just kind of where the stack moves through. And then there's the command point, and then there's a very short bar that is the between the command and the attack. And so what happens is that the characters progress through the wait part, depending on their speed. So people can overtake each other on this time bar, which is cool because I had a very fast character who was just like doing laps around everybody.
That's great.
Well, and then you hit the command part, and you give a command, and then everybody's still progressing along the time bar. So again, if you have a faster character, you can, and then they get to the attack part, and that's when they do their attack. So it's not hard to have a character who's very fast. You know, they reach a point, you give them a command to attack a monster that already has been given a command. Like, is going to be the first one to attack, and like they're about to attack, and then they overtake them and like punch them and kill them before they can have a chance to attack.
Action,
yeah, and there are interrupt moves that can stop them from doing things. So yeah, I was like pissing off the monsters seriously by just with that fast character. She would just go around and around like interrupting people before they could attack.
Nice.
And so it was a really neat system that I was having a lot of fun playing with and interacting with. And it's just a really, really funny game. You know, I love the other Zeboyd RPGs as well, and they've all been very funny. But you know, dialogue and story have. Well, Cthulhu Saves the World was a big improvement or increase. Let me say increase over Breath of Death 7. But even that, you know, it was still largely fighting throughout the whole thing. But here, there's a lot of talking and there's a lot of funniness, and you know, I really enjoyed it. It's you know, I can't remember how long I played it, but it was many hours.
I've only taken a look at the demo so far.
Yeah,
and I knew that I needed to buy it. I was waiting to hear you talk about it. But when I was in the base point where you started in their house,
yes,
and I was going around and I like was clicking on everything that was in the house, like getting in front of it and hitting the button, and almost every object that was in that room had like different dialogue for it. And I'm like, holy shit, I need to buy this game.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's just so much in there. It's so deep.
Because it's like a 200 meg indie game, which
That's
is
awesome.
huge for indie games or something like that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it got done
Yes.
and got done by somebody who knows what they're doing.
and it's very fantastic. I highly recommend
Good
checking it
deal.
out. Yes.
Cool. I have no more indies. Anything for you, Sean?
I just had the Not once worth mentioning.
All right. So let's move on to XBLA.
All right.
How about that?
Sounds good.
Do we want to start with? I checked out a couple demos. Do we want to start with that?
Sure.
Because I took a look at the Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD demo,
I blinked.
which I don't have a lot to talk about, but so I still own the actual old Tony Hawk games on the PlayStation. I was a huge fan of those.
Yeah.
And it looks like that.
Yeah.
A little better. My problem with it is that demo is 90 seconds long.
What?
Yeah.
You get 2 minutes, because I think you have a 2-minute run.
If that, because at 30 seconds,
That's what I'm saying. So you have the 2-minute run, which is how the game plays, but it cuts at 30 seconds left. So you have basically 90 seconds to just go around the first like little hangar area. Or it's not a hangar. I can't remember that warehouse area.
Yeah.
And do some stuff. And so it reminded me of playing the first game, but it doesn't also give you, and I think maybe this is what you were alluding to, it doesn't give you any play information,
Exactly.
like as far as
At
like
all.
here's what you do, these are the button configurations,
Right.
and I don't remember,
all.
I don't know if I looked in there to see if you can find the, I'm sure they tell you.
Oh,
right?
it has
yeah.
to be.
You can look at the
I
configuration.
think the controls help and options is still on the menu, but
But they can't give you a tutorial when they're only giving you 90 seconds.
Yeah.
They'd be out of time.
it's ridiculous.
Tell you how to play it.
Why are they only giving you 90 seconds? It's not a short game.
Well, it's a 2-minute run, I think, that you get in that area. So how it works is you're on a time limit to get as many points as possible and to do all these things. So the normal game, you would just get 2 minutes to run through and do as much as you can. So the demo, I don't understand why they don't give you the full 2 minutes.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
And no, just not have you save your game.
They're like, well, yeah, exactly. Like most demos do.
And even 2 minutes would be a pretty
They're
small
like,
sample.
we don't want you to see what your total would have been.
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, if you want to see what that total would have been,
You better buy the game.
Yeah.
And I think they have like 6 or 7 of the stages from Tony Hawk, from the first Tony Hawk in there. And this is just the initial one that they have in the demo that's available. I didn't pick it up. I think it's like $15, isn't it? Or is it 10?
It's it was 1,200 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 15?
15.
oh, it's not the full Tony Hawk game even.
No, I think it's only 6 or 7 levels.
And
I
then
didn't
you
even know
buy
this.
like
Yeah, so it's not like
then
they touched
download
up
packs
everything.
to map it or whatever. You I think that will be going on where you will.
Yeah, they're going to
download
add
other-
more in. So I think it's like
Right.
a shell where they're going to add some of the other ones later, but you have to pay for them.
Yeah.
Why did they mishandle this?
I don't know.
franchise
And
so
this is what's
badly
kicking
these
off Summer
days?
of Arcade. And I can't believe how low the buzz is on Summer of Arcade this year. And I don't know if it's just
I
me.
agree.
But I'm usually, we're all aware of it. We're seeing it everywhere.
Well,
Yeah.
And I'm just not seeing it.
You have to remember now they have like something of arcade
That's true.
every season.
That's
Whereas originally Summer of Arcade was it.
But to be fair, that's been going on the last couple of years, and I'm just not seeing.
It's
Well,
just
it's
weird
been growing
this-
more and more. Though,
Yeah.
I'm just
I
not
guess.
seeing the buzz
It's
this year
just,
for Summer
it's
of
just
Arcade.
really
I don't know
weird
what.
this year. Well, I felt it.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels different to me because all of a sudden it was here, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, and that first game, like I was interested in Tony Hawk
Yeah.
because I remember playing the old ones. I never owned them, but I enjoyed playing them. But I played that demo, and it just just rubbed me the wrong way. It made me not want to play it.
And I caused chafing.
A little bit, because I was just...
Wow.
Well, I got mad with her
You
controller.
were mad.
Yeah. I abused myself when I played Tony Hawk. Old school. But,
I think that's the only demo I checked out, though, other than the Spelunky demo. That's the
Well,
only-
I tried
I am,
Spelunky.
just before we move off Summer of Arcade, I am actually interested because Racketeer comes out this week.
that does nothing for me.
It looks like it might be fun. It's
are you gonna check it out then?
I'm gonna check it out
because I'd like to hear about it.
It's a Connect game, but also I wanted to mention it because it's also the first of Xbox's Avatar Superstar. Is that what the name of
I saw a
it
headline,
is?
but I didn't look into it.
I may be misnaming this or something, but they're going to be doing this to several games going forward, and they're going to retroactively add it to a few games like World of Keflings. There you go, listeners.
I heard them all cry out. Damn you!
Where basically, if you're doing if you are achieving certain challenges or whatnot in these games that you can use your avatar in, then you build up points, and it goes over multiple different games, like it's something that goes between all the games, and you get rewards. And I don't think they have specified what the rewards are, but everyone's speculating that they're going to be avatar awards.
So it's like the Sean Awards.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
Sean points.
Well, I mean, it's games. I figured it would be.
I did download that Verizon, whatever it was called. What are those little tablets? So my guy has a tablet now if he wants to use one.
Because it was free?
Yep.
Gotcha. Well, that's an interesting concept. So it's basically like, in addition to like normal achievements, it's this other scoring system.
Exactly.
That's tracking that.
That's neat,
For
though.
rewards.
Yeah. I want to be an Avatar superstar.
But it's odd that because they're kind of pushing avatars off too. I mean, they're getting used less and less on the dashboard.
Well,
part.
and maybe this is their way of kind of being like, "Hey guys,
remember we still got
avatars
these.
are not dumb anymore."
Remember you paid all
Dance,
that,
dance.
Remember we paid all that money for the props that don't get shown anymore?
Well, here's something else that you can get that won't show.
Yeah.
But you don't have to pay for
On
it.
the app, it comes out pretty clearly. So
That's cool.
jerks.
All right, well, that's interesting. I haven't seen anything on
Yeah,
it. so-
no, I thought that was a neat little marketing.
Yeah, I totally forgot
Switch
about
up.
that Connect game that was coming out.
Certainly
Awesome.
marketing for Sean.
Yeah, definitely.
But you were mentioning Spelunky
Yes, I took a look at the demo. That's
Spelunky.
the only as far as I got because I kind of feel like it's going to be a frustrating game
from
for
Moss
me.
Mouth, 1,200 points. Yes, that is an accurate assessment. I admit, I was going into it planning on buying it.
Yeah.
And then I was going in and I'm like, oh, I don't have points. And so then I was putting points on my account. And then for some odd reason, I just went ahead and bought it. And then afterwards, I'm like, I guess I didn't really think about that before I bought it.
Oh, because you bought it without even trying it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which was fine. But
It's a happy accident.
yes,
It could have been bad.
It is a very difficult game. I have not yet made it out of the first 4 stages. I get really close to the end of that 4th stage, which then goes into like a different
See, and that
world
makes
or
me even
something.
more worried because
Yeah.
you're crazy. To the point where you finish those things and you don't let them
Sure.
beat you, you beat them.
Right.
And I give up. So if you're not even done with it yet, then I'm worried for me.
But it is fun because it's very random. Like everything is randomized.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it can be frustrating if you're not like if you get into a blind rage or something and you're like
I do, yes.
I'm like fuck this, I'm gonna run through the stage.
Yes.
and then
me.
and so then you appear in the door and then you jump off of a cliff, not paying attention to the fact that there's like an arrow trap right there and it shoots you, and then now you're down 2 health. And then you keep falling and get hit by another arrow trap or something. I don't know.
That is me.
that sort of stuff happens where it's like,
I've done this for an hour, now I just want to finish it.
I'm getting towards the end, and I'm like, I'm almost to the end of the thing, and then I just jump down and get shot by an arrow trap, and then I die.
No.
Arrow traps are my
That's terrible.
pain, obviously.
Yeah.
However, you can pick up rocks and throw them. Basically, whatever goes in front of the arrow trap first, it'll shoot at.
Okay.
Monsters. I can use it to destroy monsters too, or not monsters. There's spiders and bats
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are monsters.
Yeah, they're kind of monsters. They're giant spiders.
See, those are
Those
monsters.
fuckers are freaky.
That works.
Go up and down on the screen.
No,
The
well,
web ones. They're on that web up and down. I only
no,
seen
those
the
are not
2.
giant ones.
These
are like 2 squares
Yeah,
across.
no, I've seen the. Yeah, okay, now I know.
Because they
yeah.
shoot webs at you.
Yes,
And if you
yes.
kill them, you get sticky stuff, which you can use on your bombs, so then bombs can stick to
Yeah.
walls and stuff.
Which I didn't know.
There's a lot of craziness. Things like you can try to kill shop owners. or accidentally do that in my case because I keep forgetting the button configuration.
And you go in there to buy something,
and I set a bomb down.
And they go batshit crazy.
Yes, because then all shop owners from that point on think you're a terrorist, and they will attack you with a shotgun once you get within range.
That's funny.
A crazy shotgun.
Oh yes, they are mad.
That is awesome.
But you can steal things from their store, which then also sends them into a blind rage. But because there's like an achievement for killing like 12 shopkeepers in one game or something like that,
Nice.
or 10. It might be 10.
That's pretty
But
that's beefy.
Yeah, and then like throughout levels, because it's completely randomized, you never know what the map is going to look like, and so you're running around collecting treasure, and basically you're just trying to get through the level is your ultimate goal.
It's a platforming puzzler, right?
Yes.
So that's what you're dealing with.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a puzzler.
Really?
Yeah, there's not really puzzles that you solve. It's basically...
But isn't the maneuvering around the puzzle part?
You can kind of call it that. That's why I've been like, maybe. You know, it's not a traditional puzzler where it's like, I got to push this block onto the switch.
Right. Yeah, because you can just break a hole and make your own door. Type of thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, I think there's always a path to the exit, but sometimes if you want some of the extra stuff, you have to blow up.
That's what I don't like about it.
What?
I don't like the fact that you can destroy everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's too open for me. Because
you don't have enough bombs to do that.
I know, and that's my problem, right? So this is my problem when I sit there and play the game. I need more structure. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, okay, so here's certain walls that can be blown up to do stuff. I like that. I don't like you can blow up everything because then I want to blow up everything.
No, you don't, because a lot of it's just solid rock, and you're like, yeah, I could get a little bit of gold out of that because you can see gold in the rock. And
I need more direction.
Yeah.
I don't need, I can't let them just drop me in and let me do whatever I want because I'll just destroy everything and then be done and I'll be like, I can't get any further.
Well, the levels have random things. Like I think every level, and maybe that every
child.
level has a damsel in distress, essentially. Although it, in a nice bit of gender equality, you can modify your damsel to be either a dude in a Speedo and a bow tie, or a pug. Or have it randomized between the three.
I'm all in on that pug.
Oh, man.
You told me that. I was like, then I thought about buying it, but I didn't.
Although you do sometimes have to use this this thing that you're saving as bait for like arrow traps.
No.
Sometimes you have no other option.
Not-
You're like, I've got no rocks around me.
I'm not throwing a pug in front of that arrow.
Or you can just carry her dead body around. What I did.
Well, yeah. In the demo, I'm like, I got the damsel to the exit, and I'm like, why won't you go through the exit? Why won't you go? I'm like, screw you. And then I went through, and then like the next level, I noticed that she had stars going around her head. I'm like, oh, I think that other one was dead.
Yeah, I accidentally dropped a bomb by her. And
Yeah, that'll do it.
I
Or if you drop them too far,
I was
or
doing
something.
the wrong thing.
Or just punch them.
Yeah, too much. Yes. And so, there are shops. You can get different weapons. You can get different power-ups. I love the sticky gloves because basically you don't need to worry about like using, because you have like ropes and bombs. You can throw ropes up to kind of climb to new areas. But with the sticky gloves, basically you can stick to any surface.
Oh, nice.
So you Spider-Man your way around all that shit. It's good. And then, so there are the damsels. Sometimes you'll find like a Indiana Jones
The idol.
and then if you pick that, it's always good to throw a rope up first. I highly recommend throwing up a rope.
Are they all trapped?
They're all trapped with a giant boulder that then cuts swaths through the entire level as it bounces back and forth. So I grab it and then I climb that rope and I'm like, good luck, suckers! There are also altars to Kali. That you might see every once in a while, and you can throw bodies on there, and then they will be sacrificed to Kali, and then she will like you more. Although she gets pissed off if the boulder crashes through her altar, by the way, or you blow it up with a bomb. So you can do that with there's some cavemen running around every once in a while, but you can also do it with your damsel.
Nice.
If you kill her, no need carrying around dead weight.
What else you can
Just
do?
throw her.
Exactly. Well, I should mention that
Or him.
saving that character gains you health back, because that's your only way of getting health back. You get one heart back at the end.
So now, what happens when you die? Do you go back to the beginning?
You
of
have
that
to start
level?
over.
Yes.
No, you have to start over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
You get one life.
Yes.
You get one life for the whole game.
Yeah.
So I can never play this game. Like I understand this about myself. I can never. So you have to play it one go.
Yeah.
I can't deal with that. I'm out.
I as I was playing through it, I'm like, maybe this was not a good purchase, but I got a little better, and it's got enough in there that makes it different every time I'm playing it, so I don't feel like it's just me hitting my head against the wall every time. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I have a chance every once in a while. Sometimes I get totally screwed over.
But so how many stages are there? Do you know?
16 or 12? 16.
16. So you've gotten to 4.
Yes,
What? And then that's all you got to start over again. So if you get to 10 and die, you got to start over at 1.
correct.
I'm never playing this game. I love the look of it, and I love how it looks.
It's not a game that's meant to be you get to the end. It's not like it's a story game. It's an arcade game.
Yeah.
You know, the whole purpose is, you know, it's like playing Donkey Kong. How many levels can you get through before you die?
I know.
You know? Can you play Donkey Kong?
You get
Well,
3
it's like
lives in Donkey Kong.
That super amazing wagon adventure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot
yeah.
in the same vein as that.
Yeah, it's easier to heal in
Yeah.
that one. But.
Well, yeah.
Here's how I look at it. I look at Spelunky as me putting in a lot of time and thought in these levels trying to get through them, and then dying and getting super frustrated that I wasted all that time. And maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way.
I was at that point, and so you know, I was. That's how I started. I'm like, I'm going to be very careful. And in fact, if you're in the level too long, then they send a ghost after you.
Yeah.
Like in
See, what the fuck?
like-
Now you can't even think.
like in that what was that indie game? The one where you have
Yeah, the platformance?
Yeah, the platformance.
Platformance.
So it starts coming after
Yeah,
you.
exactly. That basically happens, and so then it's to make sure that you're not overthinking things. And so, you know, at first I was really trying to plan everything out,
Yeah.
and then I reacted to that, and then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna run through as quickly as possible." And then I was dying super fast.
Yeah.
And so then I kind of reached this middle ground where I take a little time when I kind of move into an area, but then I know how to handle it, and I try to move through that area as fast as I
So
can.
here's what I'm now getting into is the fact that it's not necessarily about get everything you can in this level. And that's kind of how
definitely
I
not.
was looking at it when I
Yeah.
played the demo.
Oh,
It's
no,
like,
no, no,
oh,
no.
I'm going to collect as much gold and get all this stuff.
You want to
It's
try to
basically-
grab as much as you can,
But it's about getting to the exit.
it's about
Yeah.
getting to the exit.
and not piddling around with other
Correct.
shit in there.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I got it. Because I was like, I'm going to kill everybody, go to see everything that's in here.
Saving the character is a high priority for me, just because then you get the health back.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
But even then, if I'm like, fuck that, you know,
Well,
that's
now-
too much
now I'm
work.
throwing her.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Now I'm turning around a little bit.
Okay.
Because now
Yeah.
if it's all about just getting to the exit.
You
and-
really do have to figure out the right mentality for the game.
That's true.
Because it can easily be very frustrating.
Yeah.
And it does get frustrating from time to time, and then I just put it down for a while, and then I come back to it after a while, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun.
You go out and kill an animal.
Yeah. And it has co-op.
back.
It has co-op.
Oh, that's good.
And it's slightly cooperative, slightly
But it's only
competitive.
local, right?
Yeah, it is only
See, that
local.
sucks.
That does suck, actually. But
I hope that's something they can put in later for
yeah,
online.
that would be really cool. And apparently there are shortcuts. Because like there's this construction area in the front zone after I played through the first level a few
Mm-hmm.
times, and so I think there are ways to jump to later levels.
Okay.
So if you
warp whistle?
if you want to get to the end, I'm sure there are going to be ways to help you kind of just jump to go to stage 2, world
Right.
2, and all that. So
Nice.
I would not fret.
Okay. I will not fret. I didn't buy it either, though, so I'm okay right now.
You made I don't know. Those achievements are going to be very hard to get. I've got like 2. I've played it like 100 times.
Oh, my God.
I had a lot of fun with what I played
Yeah,
as a
it's
demo.
fun.
And I do want it. The price point's what's keeping me away.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
if
15.
10 probably would finagle me, persuade me a little bit more. But I thought it looked fantastic and had a lot of fun, like just the craziness.
Yes.
I mean, when that boulder hit, I was just like, "Oh, well, I'm dead." But at the same time, I was like, "That was fucking cool." There's a lot of neat
Nice.
parts to it. And,
A lot of different characters too.
Yep.
They're unlockable characters. Apparently, some characters from other games will be making appearances. I think Super Meat Boy is one. There might be a Twisted Pixel character.
I love the design look.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
design work in the game, I think, is really cool.
I like to be the Hindi guy.
I'm
my
the
favorite.
white-haired dude,
Can you play as the
old guy?
pug?
old guy, yeah, with the beard.
Can you play as the pug?
Obi-Wan.
Maybe it's an unlockable.
That's
character.
what I want to play
I don't know.
as. That's awesome. Then I'll buy it. Somebody let me know.
Pug Warriors. Jeremy's ultimate XBLA game.
All right, so Spelunky, I'll look at it more.
Spelunky.
I'll try and get my head around it.
All right.
In a different attitude.
Wrap it.
It's got a Dig Dug kind of vibe
Yeah,
to it.
it's got a little bit of that.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's
cool.
because it's very arcadey.
I love when I
Classic
love when I like blow and I get down to a level
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, shit, I can't get back up.
Right. Well, you do have.
That's
ropes.
what I'm saying.
I didn't at the time.
Oh, you ran out of ropes.
Yes.
Now that goes back to my initial point that I just want to do everything and then I
Then-
get into a hole I can't get out
Then
of.
don't
No.
do that.
Well, then you just
But I
go,
can't
then you
not
go
do
to the
it.
exit.
Oh, okay.
Then you're like, well, I guess I'm done with this level.
Yep.
How about some off-roading? You want to talk about that?
I'll go off-roading. Jerry McGrath's Offroad
Yes.
sold for 800 points.
Did you say Jerry or Jeremy?
Jeremy
Okay.
McGrath.
McGrath.
So
Off-road.
Supercross, motocross, crisscross, the Daddy Mac, and the Mac Daddy.
No.
No. Supercross.
Was that in your
motocross,
notes?
They're in here though.
Wait, you, Daddy Mac
Crisscross.
and
The Mac Daddy.
You wrote that in your notes?
JMC, yo.
Oh my god.
He doesn't want to forget his jokes.
No, I was on.
That was a joke?
I was on a roll when I was writing it. I'm like, man, crisscross.
Word
He just kept
association.
going.
That's what it was. It was Supercross, motocross, crisscross.
No, I
The
got.
Daddy Mac, Mac.
I
Daddy.
understand.
I know
how
you
the
do.
word associates.
I know, but I'm just saying. But
So how about the game?
Sells for 800 points.
Yes.
It's got Supercross and Motocross racing in it. I think there's 5 different classes of cars, and you just move up. That each you run through like there's an initial time trial for the first race, and then you race other cars. So there's the rally cars, there's the trucks, there's the dune buggies, and then I think there's another truck. So maybe it's only 4
Did you say Doom buggies?
or dune buggies.
Well, that would be more awesome if they were Doom buggies.
Well, they're all Dr. Doom buggies. Little Doom buggy. So then there's, I got so sidetracked there, but
I wonder how that happened.
it's a racing game,
Yes.
of course. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty tight. The graphics are pretty tight.
Controls well.
Controls are very simple. Very, very simple. I think this is arcade is how you want to stamp this game.
Yeah.
But it has a polish of a disc game, in my opinion.
nice.
I think it looks really good. It
Maybe a
doesn't-
low-level disc game?
a low level.
Like one of the $39.99 disc
no
games?
tearing in it whatsoever, which sometimes in racing games you run in that problem.
A little bit of slowdown and
Yep,
everything?
and that doesn't really hit. The only problem I have with the visual of it is that some of the maps look like they drive like the same map. They just have a different skin over them.
Oh,
So
really?
like, let's say you're in the mountains and the next thing you're in the snow, but it
Yeah.
feels like the same map.
Yeah.
Hazards are in there because sometimes you'll just be like driving and then all of a sudden hay bales come rolling through, or snowballs, or what is the other one? Probably
Fireballs.
I guess Ewoks are after you. It's essentially what are going on. You're on Endor
Logs.
racing,
There's a
and
log
they're
and a
just
rock.
Yeah, it's rock paper scissors at you. I thought I played
Some of them jump onto your four-wheeler.
Yeah, there's like, wow. See, that'd be a good game too. There's a arcade mode, which you can pretty much set up your whole thing. You can set up the track,
nice.
the amount of, not the track, it doesn't have a track editor.
You can choose which track you want to play.
You can choose which
Gotcha,
track,
okay.
how many laps you want to do, time, blah, 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 all that stuff. If you want AI on there to be aggressive or be not, or just race by yourself.
And this is like outside the career
And
mode?
that's on arcade.
Okay.
Career mode, you just go through, pick a car. My little problem with it initially was you have all these cars to choose from. I don't know, and from what I get from it, there's no difference in the car and how they handle. It's just a different skin.
Oh, okay.
So you get those right off the bat. The only problem is when you race to get upgrades, so you upgrade that car, the next car in the line, you've got to upgrade that car.
Okay.
So I thought that was a little
Okay,
weird.
so, yeah. I've played games like that before where you're basically using this one vehicle, you're upgrading all of it, and then you upgrade to the new vehicle, and it's down at the base level? Is that what you're saying?
Well, these are all the same kind of cars.
Oh, okay.
And from what I get, they all handle the same, and then you upgrade one. They're just a different skin. It's like if you just change the color on the
okay.
car.
But they handle the same.
But they feel like they handle the same.
Okay.
I mean, they just look like different cars. Of, I want to drive the monster truck, or I want to drive the KC Lamps truck, or whatever. But I just picked one and then just upgraded those. I didn't add brakes, though, at all. None of my cars
Why
have.
bother with that?
Well, you don't need brakes in this game. Well, they help, but you don't need them. I thought the controls were really simple, as I said earlier. The car handles really, really easy. I could really fudge with it a lot. I played a lot of racing games, and this one handles like an arcade one would. But it just, the look kind of throws you off because you think it's going to handle a little bit more like
rough,
like your friend Forza or whatever it is. Can't think. Forza. There it is. But the career mode I thought was fun. I played through all that. Some of it got a little repetitive. Jeremy got a little repetitive.
I played the demo, so I just played one race, and he wouldn't stop talking to me. He tells you every curve.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we're in a race. He's in #1 spot. Why is he helping me out?
And you
That
have
was a little bit of this.
and you
'cause
have
he's a bro.
and you have
He's a
a
bro.
and you have a drive. You have a co-pilot too,
Oh, okay.
so you can turn off Jeremy's hints,
and have the other.
and the co-pilot says the same exact thing.
Okay, good.
But what I
Well,
also
maybe it was my
liked-
co-pilot that was talking to me then, and not
Maybe.
Jeremy.
No,
That makes more
it was
sense.
Jeremy.
That makes less sense.
No, it was Jeremy the whole time. That's why I don't understand about it either. It's like left turn, bro.
Yeah, I know, right?
He doesn't say bro though.
And even when I got ahead of him, he was telling me what was going on.
yeah,
I was like, wow, this guy,
I was
he's
like,
cheating.
I passed him. He's
knows
in a
what's up.
helicopter.
He's setting you up. See, he's conditioning you that
Left
you're
turn, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna
Off the edge.
Yeah, you're gonna follow it. And then he's gonna Wile E. Coyote you.
He is. I was his road runner. This sucks.
So you build up upgrades. I thought that was really nice. Your XP builds up pretty easily because you get points for passing, things like that. Just doing weird curves, like if you can do like a draft, you can get points on that. Played some of the multiplayer. The multiplayer I really enjoyed once we got a game going. It took a while to get into one. I don't think a lot of people had the game, but
Right.
then all of a sudden it blew up.
Okay.
And I enjoyed that. The only problem I have with it is essentially you're using your car from career mode.
Uh-huh.
So if you've gone through, then you have a topped out car. Now, if you're playing someone that hasn't, they don't.
Okay, so there's no like matching based on levels.
Like I was in there, I'm a level 14. I was in there level like 2s and 3s who I don't understand why they wouldn't play career. It's like they jumped into multiplayer right off the bat. So if you're going to play this game, play through the career, build a car up,
Yeah.
one car up, two car. You end up building them all up essentially, at least one of each.
However, in that same vein, you're capped since
Yes.
your leveling is based on your career
Yeah.
mode. So it's not like people have been playing multiplayer. It's the same way around.
Right, right.
When you try to jump in on multiplayer where you have leveling.
And then each car is a step up. So your final car, your trophy truck, is faster than your rally car. I like the rally car better. I think it handles better. But I thought I enjoyed the multiplayer of it. But just the fact that it was kind of uneven. I mean, there was times where I was 30 seconds ahead of everybody,
And now,
and I think that's pretty big.
do they still get points for completing?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
But the only problem, because I think I got DNF'd once. I got disqualified once. I still got some points because you get the points for what was going on.
So even if
during
they
it.
don't win or they can't compete, they at least get something for playing through. So maybe that's just the kind of thing you got to keep playing it and just build up over time. And
Yeah.
I don't know what else.
But then you
do.
got the people that lose and then they quit the game before it's over.
Oh, and does
So that was
screw everything
awesome.
up?
I love those points that I don't get.
Oh, that's not good.
But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really it's a $10 price point. I think that's really good. The multiplayer was nice. The career is really good, solid. They said there's it has a little spot for downloadable content.
Okay.
What that may be down the road, who knows? But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really. I mean,
More Jeremy McGrath vocal tracks.
and I really like that. You can turn all that stuff off.
You get there are 3 different packs. You can buy them, and if you put them
Yeah.
all on at the same time, it's actually non-stop talking from Jeremy McGrath.
He's just like, "Hey, right turn, bro. What's going on? How are you doing? A right turn, left turn, sharp."
I got a
Like,
mouse
pause for 8
I am
minutes.
sharp.
I got a monster
What?
for you, dude.
Sharp turn.
bro. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to playing some more multiplayer of it because I liked playing because I was really doing well actually, and that was nice. It's nice to play a racing game and like I'm winning. and I also like the two that you can turn everything off in it. It's weird too. The game doesn't have any music, but I know that they're doing.
Oh, it's just like the car noises and that's it.
Yeah, but,
Okay.
and they do have an audio, someone teaching you to go through it, like left turn, right turn. I mean, they have a
Yeah.
navigator like you do in any kind of racing
Right,
off-road game
right.
like that you would. But you also have a visual, and I thought that was really nice. It helps you, if you're listening to the cues and looking at the visual, you can see when jumps are coming, when turns, and I thought that was really nice. So then you can turn off the audio, turn up your music, whatever music you have
On your own?
and just race it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Yeah. So I thought that was really neat
Cool.
that they had both the audio and visual cues.
Awesome.
Because that helps. I mean, some of those tracks get a little bit like crazy and
I believe the term is gnarly.
gnarly. Boss.
That is accurate.
They get boss.
They
and
get
gnarly.
boss.
Hold on, let me check my dictionary. That is correct.
But I dug it. I thought it was a pretty good game.
Cool.
Yeah. I think it's a really good price. But if you're a huge racing nerd, don't. Yeah.
What
You
is
might
it, a
not-
little
Why,
too
right?
arcadey?
Yeah, it's a little too
Racing nerds
arcadey.
can enjoy arcadey.
They can, but not if they want to break
It's not
out
as
their-
hardcore as
Yeah,
what
if
they
you've
would
got
maybe
your
be looking
steering
for.
wheel at
Sure.
home, Yeah, it's that you can just use your controller. Because that steering wheel ain't going to do nothing for you.
All right. What do we got? Walking Dead? Is that it?
I've also got Quantum Conundrum.
Oh, let's hear about that.
Okay.
Because I don't know anything about it.
Quantum Conundrum from Airtight Games and released by Square Enix. I actually didn't realize that was going to be happening. But sells for 1,200 Microsoft points. This is definitely a platform puzzler.
Okay.
Physics-based puzzler. A lot of parallels being made to Portal 2, of course.
Okay.
The head creative designer, I think is the title. I don't remember. She was a creative designer on Portal 2 as well. So, you know. But basically the concept is that you're this young boy who has been dropped off to visit his crazy mad scientist uncle
Awesome.
at his mansion. But when you arrive, something has gone horribly wrong.
No.
And the mansion shuts down. I know. And you're
On the day you get there?
I know. At the moment you arrive.
Oh, man.
And the uncle doesn't really know where he is, but he can kind of observe you, follow your movements through like the security system in the house, and so he helps guide you to go restore power to the place. And
Your uncle sounds like a creeper.
Figure out what's going on. It's his own house.
Oh, it just happened to shut down, but I've got you on camera all over.
So I like the animosity that your uncle has for you because he's the typical loner mad scientist, and he doesn't like the fact that he keeps getting saddled with his little nephew hanging around, and he doesn't like that you keep breaking windows because you have to break windows to get through places and stuff. He's like, oh, that's nice, thanks. And so basically, as you're going through, you gain the IDS, the interdimensional system, something.
Sounds good.
You can shift between dimensions, and so as you progress, you can move through 4 different dimensions. Well, 5 if you count normal dimension. There's the fluffy dimension where everything is soft and fluffy and like 10 times lighter than normal. Then there's the heavy dimension where everything becomes like hard and metal and is much, much heavier than normal. There's the slow-mo dimension where things are moving very slowly, and none of this affects you, of course. You continue to move as a normal person.
It's just everything around.
Yes, everything around you. And then there is, what is the last dimension? Oh, anti-gravity dimension, where gravity flips. And so the puzzles in here are great. You know, as you get later in levels, the ones in the beginning, the ones in the demo are pretty straightforward and simple. They just kind of expose you to the different types of things that you'll be doing in a broad stroke. But as you get into later levels and you have to start switching between different dimensions, like, so you have to, let's say you have a safe here and you need to, or you have a, yeah, let's use a safe. You have a safe, and there's a button on the ceiling on the other side of like a piece of glass or something like that. So, you know, you have to turn to the fluffy dimension in order to pick up the safe. Then you throw the safe, quickly switch back either to normal or the heavy dimension so that it's got solid weight and it can crash through the window, and then switch over to the anti-gravity dimension so it starts moving upwards. But then before it, touches it, because... No, I guess anti-gravity dimension would be fine. Yeah, and then it hits the top. There was this one where I had to bounce saves, and there are these tension platforms, and so you have to turn to the heavy dimension to weigh down on it, and then turn to the fluffy dimension so that they weigh less, so it springs it back up.
Wow. And
then you have to kind of do that twice to get a higher level, and so I had to do that with a safe and get it to touch a button at the top, and I kept failing. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Because it's getting up to the button. And I'm like, oh wait, it's fluffy, it's really light, it's not it's not heavy enough to hit the button. So I had to switch back to a normal dimension or a slow. I think I went to slow-mo dimension because then there was like this. It touched the button, and you could follow the electricity to a door, and then the door opened for like a second and then closed again. But,
oh my God.
If you go to slow-mo dimension, I outran that electricity. I was standing there waiting at the door for it to come all the way over.
That's great. I mean, so you're doing that on the fly.
Yeah.
And it was with the bumper buttons?
Yeah, the bumper and triggers.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. All that stuff is controlled on the bumpers and triggers. And it's all displayed on the screen for you so you remember. And you don't always have all the dimensions available to you. So part of the puzzle will be, you only have these 2 dimensions. How are you going to get through this
Yeah.
stuff? And so, it's great. You can like, I have to get over this big chasm, so I'm going to go to the fluffy dimension, pick up the safe, throw it, switch over to the slow-mo dimension when it's halfway there, jump across onto the safe, and jump to the other side of the chasm as it's slowly making its way across or something.
Is this the kind of thing too where these and maybe you haven't played enough to know, but
I played it all.
Oh,
I got through the game. Yeah.
So is it the kind of game where there's one solution?
There is,
because the thing with like Portal is a lot of those times there are multiple solutions, but there's really one way that this is how you do it.
There's one good way to do it.
Okay.
And each level has like a time goal and a shift goal, like the number of times that you shift between dimensions.
Gotcha.
Now those seem a little tight because it is a physics-based game, and so if something's a tiny bit off, that can end up being a big bit off later on.
Right.
But whatever. So I love the puzzles. I love the dimension aspect. It's actually got a lot of nice humor in there, as your uncle's talking to you throughout the entire adventure and, making funny comments and stuff. However, I think they needed to work on the platforming element of it a little more.
Yeah.
Especially because it is such a big part of the game. There is a lot of jumping from one thing to the next. That is like a core element of it. It is definitely a platformer.
And is it first person?
It's first person.
Okay.
And one of the things that was a problem for me is that you have no feet. And so I was having a hard time figuring out how to center myself onto objects and really just kind of figuring out how where a surface was. Like sometimes I felt like things were supposed to be like the reticle was in front of me.
Yeah.
Like that's where I was. And there was like a camera following me or something. I had a hard time, especially because a lot, these safes are very small. Sometimes you're jumping across very tiny objects sometimes. Right. And so that became kind of difficult.
Yeah.
So maintaining your own space.
Maintaining my own space was difficult. The dude is a fucking Olympic long jumper. This 10-year-old kid, seriously, I'm like, let's make a little hop here. Boing, like 10 feet in front. I overjumped so much stuff. And, while that's a nice aspect when, it's like, I don't know if I can actually make this, but there is a ton of small jumping that you need to do, like from one thing to the next. And so I was constantly doing jump, pull back, jump, pull back, jump, pull back. And with having a hard time centering myself, that kind of started to compound a little bit.
Yeah.
In addition, surfaces were a little bit swanky. Part of this may have been because it was hard for me to center myself, and so finding where edges were was difficult.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure there are times that I kind of slid off of things. And so part of that maybe I had to replace my controller. I have a very shiny controller now, by the way. Anyway,
you get one of those super shiny ones?
That's a different story. Yes.
I hate those.
I know, me too.
Are they bad?
But just
they're just ugly, right?
Yeah, it's just ugly.
Yeah.
But I really wanted one of the ones with the new D-pad.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
me too.
I'd like to see that though.
But the new
go get it now.
But the new controllers, like the regular ones that have the new D-pad, they've taken the color out of the 4 buttons.
Yeah, which I hate.
Which is terrible, right? Yes. Imagine playing Asura's Wrath without having those colors there.
I like how it looks. I like how it looks, like the black and white and gray.
I think
but
it's stupid.
It's like functionality wise, it's dumb.
Anyway,
like why would you do that?
Yes, it's hardcore.
It is.
All right, but to come back to this, and so
that's weird.
I think part of this was just me having a hard time centering myself. There's like a lot of times you're jumping on chairs, and so I would jump on the back of a chair, and I'm like, okay, now I'm going to jump off, and then I'd kind of like fall to the seat of the chair accidentally, not realizing it, and so then that would mess up my ability to jump. Like as I was falling, that's when I was pressing A, so then I just keep walking forward and walk off. You die a lot, is what I'm saying. However, is really hilarious when you die, because when you die, then it lists like thing you'll never experience number 352 or something like that, and it lists something funny that you could have done in your life, but you died as a 10-year-old kid running through this mansion. Yes, exactly.
Nice.
That's hilarious.
Yes, but I like the concept enough that I was willing to overcome the frustration and all that stuff. It's the challenge, and I think if you're just playing through the game, that's fine. If you're going back through for those challenges, you're gonna go insane. You're gonna need some patience for that. Yeah,
I've got lots of that. Dicks.
I was just laughing at your.
I put up with you guys. I have to have a
Smile.
lot of patience. Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, cool. I'm glad to hear that it was fun, at least, or
Yeah,
it was a good experience. I should
I
check
enjoyed
out
it.
the demo.
I don't regret it.
It must have come out while I was in San Diego, because
It
I don't
did.
remember even seeing
It did.
anything on it.
Yeah,
So.
that was that week.
Okay. Cool. I'll take a look at it.
Please do.
I will, just for you.
Okay, thanks.
But I won't see that controller when we're done.
Okay. I'll blind you with it.
Well, bam.
Walking Dead, episode 2.
Starved for help.
Starve for help. What is you mentioned earlier, you said that you had a problem with it. What's the problem? Did you just forget about it?
No.
What's the matter?
When I had to get the new Xbox,
Yeah?
I don't recall. I must have erased my original save file, so I got to go through and
Oh, you
play
go
it
through the first game?
all over again.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. You just
Yeah,
haven't played it yet?
But it sucks because I played through that the first time like 3 or 4 different times, and now I got to sit through him, and I had to sit through the beginning with that cop. I'm like, shut up! I know what happens. Let's get to it.
So you haven't played the second one yet?
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about it.
Let's do
spoil
it.
it.
I'm not going to
ready.
ruin it,
No,
though.
spoil it.
No, we're not going to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it for people at home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
this
right.
guy's good to spoil stuff.
Those people
right?
at home.
I look out for everybody, but mainly me.
Yeah, there we go. I look
So
out for
this is the follow-up
everybody.
to the first episode,
Right.
and it jumps ahead 3 months in the story, and so you kind of been established at where it left you at the end of the first episode, and you're kind of moving on from there. It's a little bit of a different area that they cover in this game versus the first episode.
And I like that.
Different style. I liked it a lot.
Given
It's-
a big change up.
Yeah, it's not a lot of combat. It's not a lot of combat heavy.
No.
There's a little bit, but not
bit.
too much. It's more of the interpersonal relationship
like
stuff.
that.
So it was very comic book feeling to me. Where it was,
And some super tough choices.
there are some very difficult choices in the game,
I was grueling over stuff.
and that fits into it. You know, it
and
gets
I got
a lot more.
I got to the end
personal.
of the game and I was just shaking my head. I'm like, I did not do things right.
I did not.
But I'm pretty sure that no matter how I would have done
It's
it,
gonna
I
be
would,
bad
I
news.
would have been like, I did not do that right.
it's gonna be bad news.
Yeah,
no matter
I
where
mean, it's
you
just
go.
it's just a shitty situation, you know. So
all
it's-
around.
exactly.
all around shitty situation. So, you know, you're meeting some new characters. There's some
Yes.
things developing, and it spends a lot more time just in this one area.
Right.
And again, like I said, it's a lot more just conversational and interacting with people
Yeah.
as opposed to fighting zombies. And,
Right.
and, you know, it doesn't happen as much in that one.
And I was very invested in it.
Totally. I mean, it definitely had that feel to it. And there's really, the problem is there's not a lot you can say about it without talking about the story because it is all story.
There's something I could say about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
This may have been come out of the editing room a little fast.
Okay, so gameplay wise, and it was delayed on top of it, so maybe not
Yeah.
delayed enough. It is very glitchy.
Yes.
Very much more so than the first episode for me.
Yes.
In fact, every cutscene or anything that I
Well,
couldn't control,
yeah.
like kind of had a stutter at the end of
The
it.
video stuttering was bad, but there were like straight out glitches. Like
Yeah.
I walked. There was a swing. I was trying to look at the swing while it was swinging, and then I got stuck, and I couldn't move anymore.
Oh, I didn't have that, thank God.
so I had to quit.
That sucks.
And come back. Yeah, he just
terrible.
decided he was mesmerized by the swing. I think.
Lee, move.
Nope.
He found joy for once. You couldn't leave him alone. Come on, this is a world of disaster and hurt. Let him enjoy a swinging swing.
Oh man.
But yeah, so there was that. Obviously, there was
Yeah.
those problems, but also it was just like stuttering a lot on the cutscenes,
And that was really taking me out of things.
yeah, because it's such a game about the flow, and so like here's your quick. You have 10 seconds to make this decision choice,
Yeah.
you know, or this conversation.
And then
thing.
it's like, hold on, wait a minute.
right.
Let me fix it. Okay. Okay, go.
You make the decision real quick, and you're like all panicked, and then it's just frozen a second on the guy. And then it goes to the scene.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, come on, you're like taking me out of this moment.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Yeah, it was an unfortunate
Yeah, it is pretty bad. But
consequence.
Well, I
story
might
wise,
wait a little bit longer. Maybe I'll get an update.
no, you
maybe.
should play it still.
Well, I'm still gonna play it.
No, you should play it quickly though.
Oh, okay.
I will say this because I saw a lot of reaction from folks online about the story that they tell in this episode. I found it to be completely predictable. I
yeah, I saw
and
it
I don't
coming
understand
a
where
mile
these
away.
surprises are coming from because I'm seeing people like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, I kind of knew what was going on.
Well, I thought they were kind of going for a double fake for a while there, and they
maybe,
and
yeah.
they kind of allude
That
to
would've
that
been
a
smart.
little bit, where it's like, oh yeah, this is totally going down this stereotypical road, and I'm like, and that's when
Maybe it
I started getting
won't.
suspicious. I'm like, am I going to look like a dick in this game if I make my character kind of act
Now,
in
wouldn't
this
that be
way?
great?
I know, and I was starting to convince myself maybe that's what they're going to do.
Double fake
Maybe that's
out.
what they're going to do.
Oh, how about this? The game got into your fucking head that way. I love that.
I know.
Where you're like starting to like.
But there were a few comments that made me start thinking about that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Maybe it's not what I think, and
That's-
I'm going to be the asshole.
Exactly.
I don't know. So on top of that, as predictable as it was,
Yeah.
and it kind of went where I was expecting it to go.
But still-
I wasn't prepared for how it went there.
How you get to that point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the things that happen when you're there,
Yeah.
I was not ready for.
Yes.
So it was still entertaining, and I
Many,
can't
many
wait for
tough
the next
choices.
episode.
Awesome.
Ugh, so many tough choices.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Sean, you should play this.
Especially
I will play.
because I set myself ground rules for my world. Like
Yeah.
I have to be honest with what's her name? Caroline?
I can't remember now.
The little girl's name. Yeah. I tell myself I'm always going to be honest with her. You know, exactly. I'm going to and so there are things I did it and then she saw and I'm like, "Oh,
I have to be honest with you.
sorry."
Clementine.
Clementine.
That's
That's it. Yes.
So yeah,
Clementine.
it's awesome.
Oh yeah, because
It's
he's all
very
like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah, he's talking all sexy to
Yeah,
this
it's like-
6-year-old.
So,
I still don't get the sexy
so
talk.
where,
Really?
Like I don't hear it as sexy.
where you
Okay.
hiding at?
Maybe I want to hear it.
You
I
do.
think so. Yeah.
He's like the Old Spice guy. That's all I hear.
You do.
Oh, maybe it's because
Maybe-
I don't watch commercials.
Maybe it's because I'm completely racist.
There you
I
go.
think all black guys sound the same. I think they're all trying
Probably.
to sex up ladies.
Yeah, they're all like,
you trying to sex up you. You were hoping.
That's why
fact.
it's on my hope. I'm not a racist. He sounds like the Old Spice guy.
or Barry White.
That could be too.
I still don't hear it.
All right. $5. I know
Yes.
we mentioned that. It's a great price point. So.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're doing Xbox rewards,
Although, do you have to
you're
get
gonna
the first
get that
one and play
anyway.
the second one?
What's that?
Easily.
Do you have to get the first one and play the second one? Because then that would technically be $10.
I don't know. Do you have to have the
I
first
think,
one?
think
I think
you
you
do.
might. Because I think on Steam you buy it as a full $25 thing, and then
Up front.
you just get the
Yeah.
5 episodes.
Okay. Well, I hope they continue on, and I hope they don't have any glitches going
Oh, I
forward.
don't think. I mean,
They will.
it might get delayed or
They'll have the
something.
glitches.
Oh yeah, probably.
I hope not. All right. Anything else on XBLA, or does that tap us out?
That's it.
Disc
That
games.
should be it.
Do you want to go in the Wayback Machine for LA
All right.
Noire for a year ago or whenever it was?
Yes.
More than a year ago now.
Yes,
Year and a half, maybe.
because everyone was
It was the
getting
beginning
those
of last year.
achievements in May of 2011.
Yeah. There you go.
It was spring. It was
Okay.
late spring. Yeah, I've been playing it with a good friend of mine who also enjoys detective shows. She's a Columbo fan. I'm a Rockford Files fan. So we
So
get a
you
little
guys
bit
fight?
of that. No, we
Oh,
actually
okay.
get along very well.
Good.
I mean, we share a love for those detective shows. It's
Gotcha.
just, our main focus. So, she enjoys the Columbo-esque little preview of the crime that happens at the beginning of
Gotcha.
each crime.
And at the end, it's like they got the guy, and he's like, "Oh, just one more question.
Exactly.
Who's this in this picture? Because it looks like you standing over the body. Is that it? So that
Yeah,
kind of
basically.
answer she likes.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. And so we're totally into the detecting and the interrogating and looking for clues. And we're like, oh, what's this clue mean? And he'll pick stuff up and he'll be like, oh, circumstantial. I'm like, that's not fucking circumstantial. I'm like, why are you dismissing this? I mean, I appreciate that they do that so that you're not totally
Going down wrong paths.
ruling over every little soda bottle that you find on the ground. But I picked up a key in an apartment. He's like, circumstantial. And I'm like, it's a fucking key. We can't dismiss it entirely. And then I was in another apartment and I saw basically the same shaped key. I'm like, there's that key again. What's going on here?
I tell you what's going on. They're reusing.
I know. Props. Yes, exactly. And we it took us a little while to get into the patter for the truth, doubt, lie.
It's a little bit of a curve at the beginning.
A little bit. Actually, if you look at the instruction manual, they do a nice job of kind of describing it. And we figured it out. Basically, if you have some evidence that counters what somebody is saying, then you accuse them of a lie. If you don't have that evidence, don't bother doing that.
Because you have to prove it anyway. Even if
Exactly.
you know they're lying.
Exactly.
If you don't have anything to prove it. And that's kind of what I hated about the game. I had that problem with it.
Well,
because
then use doubt. I mean, doubt is essentially lie, but I don't have any proof.
But I
for
can't
that.
prove it, yeah.
Yeah, so I think you're being shifty or something. And what I like is that the characters have different personalities, and so somebody might just be naturally kind of shifty or nervous talking to cops, And so, they look like they're hiding things, but then I keep accusing them. They're like, no. Well, and then there are different personalities who, like, if you push them, they're going to be frail personalities. And so if you push them, then they'll totally fold.
Yeah.
But then they're going to be tough guys who, if you push them, then they're just going to clam up. And so, you really have to kind of strategize who you're talking to and, like, think about everything that's going on and all the clues. And, I'm very meticulous of looking at everything. And I enjoy that stuff a lot.
I think one of the problems I had was I knew something and I didn't find the right piece of evidence, so I could never like accuse the guy of doing it.
Yeah,
like I ran into that roadblock at one of the particular things, and I was like, "Well, I don't know. I can't do anything with it now because I know it's him, but I didn't get the piece I needed to prove it. So now I can't accuse him of
go back and play
whatever.
the case again.
Oh,
in cases.
Yeah, I don't want to do that though. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember. It was a long time ago.
And then there's the street crimes as you're kind of driving around. I was a little disappointed that a lot of the solutions for a lot of the street crimes is just shoot them dudes.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Take them out.
Like there was one where these kids had robbed this guy on what is it, Angel's Flight or whatever, that super steep little stairway rail ride.
Okay, yeah.
And they had like stolen his shoes in addition to everything else, so he couldn't chase after them. And so then we were chasing after them, and then they were jumping into a car, and I'm like, well, they're not opening fire on me, and they're just thieves, so
right.
I don't want to shoot them. Like I don't want to kill them,
right?
But it's obvious that they're going to get away. So I'm like, oh well, let me shoot out their tires. So I shoot out their tires, and they just keep driving. Like there's sparks shooting out the back, and I'm like, well, damn it. And eventually I just had to shoot them, and I'm like, well, that's kind of dumb, It's like, well, if we Jane and I, who was playing with me, we kept laughing because there was one day I was trying to get to like this crime scene, and like 3 street crimes came up in the intervening time, and I killed 12 people in that day, and I just kind of called it all in. Didn't have to go back to do any paperwork. It's like, oh yeah, they're all dead.
That's how it was back in the day, Craig.
Moving on.
Yeah. That's what happened.
I know, but yeah, it was the shooting aspect. That's not what I'm playing the game for.
Right, I got it.
It's not bad. It's just, yeah. And
it's a little more GTA at that point.
It is, and it's not too hard even. Like the snap aim is really is a really hard snap aim.
Yeah.
And so it's not very hard to kill people. So it's like, that's all right.
But there are times you can't kill people too.
That's true.
Isn't there? Like some of those where you have to like apprehend the guy and like but not kill him.
Yes, and there are times when you're doing like a foot chase, and if you get a long open stretch, you could like shoot into the air and stop them,
scare
or something
them
like that. Yeah,
you're
supposed to be able to tackle them too, but I can't ever catch up.
It's
to
tough.
Yeah, there was one with like a crazy dude wearing like a pan on his head.
I don't remember.
That one was kind of sad because I was chasing.
It was sad.
Well, it was very different too because you get there, he's beating a dead guy like that he's already beaten to death with a bat, and he's still like hitting it, and like there's this crowd of people standing around, and then he just kind of bolts from us, and I go chasing him, and I've been on lots of foot chases, and a lot of times I go through alleys and over fences and all this stuff. This fucking dude runs into the middle of the street and like causes a car crash in the middle of it, and he's just kind of standing in the middle of the intersection, like
That's
stunned
awesome.
there for a little bit, and then he runs off, and then he runs to like a top of a building, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get him, and then he just jumps off.
That's awesome.
And kills himself.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I don't remember that.
I'm like, whoa, so that's how this is gonna end, huh?
That went dark.
I'm like, and I'm like, I don't know if there was a way for me to finish that better.
Don't you find that you're kind of a dick as a character in the game? Like he's an asshole.
Yeah,
I wish I could be less dickish.
He's trying. Yeah, I mean, it also depends on whether or not you're answering things correctly. If you're answering things incorrectly, then you come off as much more of a dick. Yes,
right.
So you're more Russell Crowe.
Yeah, you're more Russell Crowe
and not Guy Pearce.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally.
But the other dickishness, I think, is just part of the job.
I guess, but he's just kind of an ass, like all the time when he starts questioning people. Like some of his questions.
Well, yeah,
are
he
like,
is a bit of an ass, especially in those flashbacks and stuff. You're like, shut the fuck up.
Right. Chill out, dude. I wonder why she's not going to. Well, and then they give you the list of questions, and you ask him, and he's like really confrontational about them. And it's like,
It's not always. It depends on which way you're kind of.
It kind of falls into a Mass Effect thing with me, where it's like
weird though.
Yes, no, or whatever, and your yes and like your no ends up being fuck you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I just wanted to say no, Shep. Can you calm down a little bit?
Well, that's. I mean, the way that they described it in the instruction manual is good. Like if you want to kind of coax an answer out of them, you think they're telling the truth, and you want to kind of make them feel okay, then that's the truth answer. If, however, you doubt it and you want to try to intimidate them in order to telling the truth, and so I don't think of it as doubt. I mean, I think that's probably the hard thing. Where for you in real life, you're like, I'm not sure if you're telling me the truth. That would be a doubt, right?
Yeah.
But for him, that's really intimidate. It's oh, so that's what you're going to fucking tell me? Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
That's how, it's not doubt, it's intimidate. And
Right.
so I approach it like that. And
That's true.
I think that makes it easier for me. And I don't take it that way.
You only say that because we don't read the instruction books.
Yes.
Makes you feel superior.
Basically.
I read it in the instruction book.
I can read.
Actually, I read it in an article.
I'm fancy. I can read.
I read an article on
words
Joystick
together.
like months after the game came out from one of the developers who was talking about people's reactions to the sort of manic depressive attitude that he seems to have. And he's like, well, really, when we were originally designing what to call those things, the middle one was not supposed to be doubt, it's supposed to be intimidate. And so I'm like, I
makes more
gotta
sense,
remember that.
There you go. That would help.
Exactly. But anyway,
Anything else on LA Noire?
Nope.
You're gonna finish it up?
yep.
I look forward to hearing.
I'm in I'm in the homicide department right now.
Awesome. Things start ramping up there.
Yes.
It's awesome, and shit gets real. You're like, wait a minute. Guess I'm not just solving these little crimes anymore. Shit is real.
Man,
I look forward to talking to you when you're done with it, though, because I haven't been able to with many people.
I need to return back to that game, I think.
Then we can do a 2-year late private chat.
It's all flashing back.
All right.
Playing it is all flashing back to
How
me.
about some Brave? Speaking of homicides, Disney Pixar's Brave.
Brave? We want to do Brave?
Sure.
All right.
Do you have anything else to talk about?
Well, there's Steel Battalion.
Do that first if you'd
hard
like to.
enemy,
Go for it.
Heavy ammo.
It's hard enemy.
Heavy armory.
Hard armor.
Hard armor. Heavy armor.
Hard ass.
Hard
Son
ass.
of a
Steel
bitch.
Battalion. Hard ass.
You know,
son of a bitches.
When we were talking about this
you're
on
a
the
drill
show, when Craig was talking about it on the show,
Yes.
I was really interested in it. I didn't try out the demo, and I was like, well, I'll just rent it when it comes out. It was getting that time where it was close. It was coming up.
I heard terrible things.
So, like, I played it, and I really, like, there's so many cool things about this game. Like, so many neat things about this game. And then you play it, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And we got off the ship, and we were, boom, 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 blowing up, and I made it past, the guy blew up, and I'm like, oh, I know not to go there, because I remember Craig telling, and that's where mines are at. But then we go there, we had to blow this bridge up. And I hadn't been playing that long. I played through like the tutorial at the beginning, teaching you how to work things, which I thought was fantastic.
Where it is not a shitstorm.
Yes, and then you land and you get into this
Where everything makes
shitstorm.
sense. Like, oh, I'm going to know how to do all this
It's
stuff.
like, oh, let me take my time aiming. Let me follow these clear orders about what to do next.
Exactly.
And then it's like,
do everything now.
And you're like, my arm. And I got past
It's like
that.
life.
I got past that. I'm like, well, that should have been. That's when it was crazy, right? And they're like, well, we're gonna blow up this bridge, so we've already got the explosives put out. All you got to do is set them. And I'm like, well, I walk over to them. Oh, you take shots, so I had to get out. And I'm crawling to it. I did that fucking thing 7, 8, 10 times.
Yeah.
Trying, and you got to swim with your hands essentially to crawl to this thing.
Unconnect.
To hit the plunger. And every time my hand would get there, I'd die. Every single time. And I took it slow at first. I took it fast. I took it medium. I mean, I went through.
were you supposed to wait for a timing or something for enemy fire?
I have no idea. And that was the thing. It was like, it just said, keep crawling. And I'm like,
Maybe you weren't going fast enough.
I know. I was playing the game wrong, right? But that was the thing. And I gave up.
He might hit you.
I totally gave up at that point. Like, I was so
You were
pissed
done?
off. And it's the bad thing is, I haven't played this game since right before we did the private chat for Ashura's Wrath.
Yeah.
And just talking about it is fucking pissing me off.
So you really might hit Craig.
No, I won't hit him.
He just said you were a quitter.
No, I'll just draw a picture of me hitting him.
Oh, okay.
But no, it was like,
I go on the list.
there's so many. It's a long list.
Nice.
I'm on it twice, though, so you're in good company. But, like, everything about it I enjoyed up until that point.
Yeah.
And
And
it
you,
was
so you
too-
never got past that
And I
because you couldn't do it.
I
Right.
couldn't do it right. I don't know how to set off explosives with my Kinect. I mean, I know how to plan them.
I heard the controls were really bad. Like the responsiveness of it was bad. Were you having that problem up until then?
I found it a little bit,
Okay.
but I find that with other Kinect games where you just kind of you change your gameplay.
Yeah.
Like sometimes some games you don't have to make the fluid movements as much as other games, and so once you kind of get the gist of it, it's fine.
Right.
And that's why I was like, after the 4th time dying, I'm like, well, maybe it's me. After the 7th time dying, I'm like, maybe it's this fucking game. And the 10th game, I was like, there's something else to play.
You didn't just like put it away for a day and then come back.
No, I was done with it.
Well, that's because you pushed yourself too far. I'm saying after the 4th time, you're like,
I
okay.
I usually go back to games. I was done with this one. Sat as long as I rent it. I played it the first day I rented it. I rented it for 5 days, and it sat at my house. And I was like, I thought about sending it your way.
No, I didn't play it. So
I thought about it.
I'll say that right now. I didn't play it.
Yeah.
But when you did the swimming thing,
Yeah.
and you got up to, and did you try to hit the thing? Did you try that?
I made a box with a plunger.
No, you didn't.
And put it
That'd have been awesome.
Put it about
You had like a
3
real
feet,
prop. You're like,
and
fuck
I was
this.
like, fuck you, and I hit it. I'm like blowing shit up at my house trying
should've.
to get to
You
it.
should have been then taken a picture of it and sent it to them, been like, fuckers, I made a real thing.
I did
It
it.
doesn't work.
But
I'm using a prop.
If anyone can play this game better than me, just let me know, because I didn't get that far at all in that game. And there were so many cool things about it. I really thought I liked the look. I dug the idea. I thought the plot was pretty cool. I mean, there was so many neat things about it until that point.
I hope somebody emails us and they just say, you just hit that button. That's all you gotta do. It blows up.
You just hit the red button on your controller.
That'd be awesome.
And that I thought would be a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
With
the controller with it.
I
It's pretty simple,
I
right?
thought it was pretty easy, and I really I was getting really pulled into it.
Did you have any crewmates die on you?
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think I really experienced this in the demo, but basically, like, if your cannon loader dies, that means you have to manually load your cannon. Like, you have to stop.
Nobody else does it.
Like, you have to climb over there and
my
like
God.
do it yourself, and then climb back to the main seat and like
Jesus.
continue going on. Yeah,
The panic is there too,
Yeah,
which I thought was
definitely.
really neat about the game, and you just
it
need
sells
to
the
calm
experience
down.
very well.
I agree with that. That's what it sold to me. Yeah. But the rest, I want to return it.
Oh, the rest. One scene.
That he couldn't get past.
Yeah, but that's not the rest.
But it's at the very beginning.
Maybe.
No game has beat me that quickly. No game.
I didn't want to. I didn't
Oh,
want
wait.
to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to play it
I
till
don't know if you
now.
want to say that.
Well, there's
Now I want to play it.
but just to say this is easy.
It's just I can go. I hit that button. I was like first time there. It was fine.
He's going to actually quit after that.
And then I'll quit.
Yeah.
Well, I did that. I mastered it.
Is there an achievement tied to it?
Who knows? Probably for exploding the bridge.
Then you can just get that achievement and be like, oh, done.
Oh, look what I got.
Share it on Facebook.
That'd be awesome.
It would.
All right.
I would like
your
it
goal for this week.
immediately.
Let's talk about some
to
Brave.
Unlike it.
Let's talk about Brave.
Now that was a game I rented with Steel Battalion Heavy Armor.
Nailed it. Almost.
I almost did it. Heavy Armor.
Emmy Arbor.
And I played that game a lot.
Brave.
Yes.
So Brave is
I
an,
enjoyed that game a lot.
Brave is an all ages title. Obviously, it's the adaptation, and not even really the adaptation of the movie. I think that it's a little bit off from what the movie's doing. I think a little more simplified and not really dealing with the main movie story.
It's not a shot-for-shot recreation
It's not.
of the movie?
Well,
It's not.
I think the game would be a little bit more. They go a little bit further in the game than they would the movie because
Right.
you fight that bear 100 different times.
Okay, so you're playing the main
Spoiler.
character from the game.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
try to curve any spoilers, but Sean's gonna ruin it. But he said the trailers ruin it,
trailers
which I haven't
ruin it.
seen.
I haven't seen the
so-
trailers.
Craig has no idea what Brave
You ain't gonna
is.
see Brave.
Craig, have you heard of Toy Story?
Maybe I will now.
It's the
Yes.
same guys that make that movie.
Yes.
Okay.
It's got a redhead.
It's got a redhead.
Yeah.
So in the game, you're playing as the main character who is trying to lift this curse.
Merida.
Merida, yes.
Yeah.
Merida.
Merida.
One of the
Meredith.
two.
Steam
It's all Scottish, so I can't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
So you're trying to lift this curse by going through these different waystones or these waypoints,
Yeah.
and going into these different areas, these different lands. I think there was like 7 or 8 different levels. It's not an overly long game.
Nope.
It is a platformer twin stick shooter hack and slasher.
Yeah.
That covers everybody, right?
Yeah.
So you're playing as kind of a pulled out view, and you're doing a platformer with a full 3D camera. You know that you're operating. You can't move the camera around. No, because it's a twin stick shooter
game.
That's right. They're directing the whole thing for you.
Yes.
But it operates where you have a sword, so that's the hack and slash part
Yeah.
with your X button attack. And then it also has a bow, which is your twin stick shooter. So you're
Yes.
moving with the left stick, and then your right stick is always the bow that you're shooting out. So it becomes a twin stick shooter, which is really awesome.
Very cool.
And it's
Very
really
cool.
well done.
Yeah.
I had a blast with it. It's really basic, but it's as far as those platforming adventures go, it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and it looked like it would be good for all ages. Anybody could pick it up and play it. It does add in a little bit of a curve with there's different charms that she gets in the game for her arrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you get like a fire, earth, wind, and ice
Yeah.
are the 4 different charms. And there's things in the environments that you have to use those arrows on or those charms on to do, like to create
So a bit of puzzles.
a little bit of puzzles.
Yeah.
But as far as they have the thing over it, they have the symbol over it that tells you what you have to use.
Oh, okay.
So you
Sure.
might
So
have
it's-
enemies that are like fire based, so you want to use your ice on them, or
Right,
vice
right,
versa.
right.
And that's where the other charms come in
Yeah.
with the enemies, where they have weaknesses. So
They're
they're
Pokemon.
the opposite, exactly. And so in most stages, it's
They're battle
fine because
beasts.
you're dealing with the same kind of enemies. But as you go and progress through the game, they mix it up a little bit. Where now this whole spawning area will have 3 different kinds of enemies that are weak to certain kinds. So you're
Yeah.
constantly flipping back and forth, which is kind of cool. But I was totally Craig Dressering this game.
Yeah, you dressed her it up.
I played the first 2 levels, and then I went in and looked at the achievements, which is something I hardly ever do. And the reason I did that is because they were popping like nonstop.
Yeah.
They were like all over the place. So I'm like, well, maybe this is something I can.
like the game. I was
Maybe
all
this is something
Pavlov
I can get them
dogging it.
all, right?
Yeah.
So I look, and there was an achievement.
It was Pokemon.
right. So I look at the achievements, and there is one for finishing the game on the hardest difficulty. And I'm like, well, fuck, this is a kid's game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ramp it up.
Right.
Oh man. So I started over, got through the first couple, not a problem.
I usually play through on medium first. Unless
yeah, I didn't want to play multiple times.
Yeah, okay. I mean, unless it's like, but that's usually a terrible game where I'm like, ugh, I don't want to play through multiple times.
Well, what happens is it gets
Terminator.
fucking hard.
Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
how. When you told me that the other day, I was like, you are on crack.
Oh.
Because I know the way you play things, and when I played it through on medium, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought, but towards the end, it gets tedious.
Oh man, it was
Like-
harder than shit.
Like very just like beat you over the head. I want to throw this controller down because it's like you're sitting there going, I can do this. I know I can do
Right.
this, but it's just you're getting overpowered at
yeah,
times.
and there was multiple sections of the game that I replayed probably 30, 40 times where I would die and then have to redo it. And I would literally live for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Because it would be a hit would take all of my health. And
So
it was
is that the Craig dress ring?
yes, where I was just like I was doing it to myself. I'm like, I should lower this, but I'm not gonna lower it.
Where
I'm
you're
gonna do it.
losing your life 30 seconds at a time?
Yes, and I wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah.
And I wanted to throw my controller. And I would just take breaks, and then I'd come back and do it, and I would be fine. And I got
Gatorade.
through it. I 100%ed everything.
nice.
Nice.
So I did get all the achievements on
Oh,
it.
good job.
So thank you. Doesn't happen very often. Gameplay-wise, though, I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really well done.
Once she gets that bow, I
Yeah.
thought that was really, really, really cool about the game. Especially that twin stick element. They also have puzzles throughout the game. Like when you make it to these other places, you got to get these. You got to get these brothers to open these gates. So then they got to do all these little like side puzzles. And then there's other times where this big bear shows up, and you get to just go crazy and beat everybody up.
Yeah, you control the bear and just tear through
And you
everybody.
tear through. And
And those things are really repetitive
Yeah.
because it's the same thing every time.
It
like
is.
she gets up to an area and like is overpowered. She's like, oh, it's like almost the same cutscene.
Yeah.
And then the bear jumps in, it attacks everybody, then it runs away, and
Yep.
then she screams after it, and then runs after it, and then it's like you move on in the level again. So I mean, it's the same thing every time it happens.
Yep.
But what are they gonna do, right?
And
It's
I
a
was
kid's
worried.
game.
I was worried about spoiling the movie, but it didn't really get spoiled for me.
That's good.
I got the gist.
Yeah, it spoiled it for me pretty much. But everything does, right?
Yeah, but you
I'm
don't
a big
pay-
baby.
Yeah,
Have you
you
seen
are
the
a pretty
movie?
big baby.
I haven't seen it yet.
Maybe it's a completely different story.
I don't think that it is because I'm not an idiot
Well,
all the time.
there you go.
But you know, the difficulty thing, I was just surprised by that being so
Yeah.
difficult on a kid's game. Normally, you don't get that extreme level of difficultness, even if you up it, usually you don't even get a choice to change the difficulty on kids' games.
Yeah.
So it's nice that it has an extra setting on it that is really challenging, because it fucking is challenging. Like, irritatingly so. But I recommend checking it out, especially if you have kids.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fun for everybody to play. And there is a co-op option to it, where somebody else controls this wisp that's going around, which must be from the movie. I don't understand. But it's like another...
Does it ever go, hey,
hey, listen, hey. There was somebody at San Diego Comic-Con that was dressed up like whatever it's
Link?
called. No, the little fairy thing.
Gobo?
Navi. Navi?
Navi.
Is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah, and she was just running around to everybody who was looking at stuff, and she'd be like, hey, listen, hey, look, hey, listen. And then would move on to somebody else and do it. I wanted to punch her in the face. It's funny.
It would have been funny for a little bit.
It's funny, but I was standing in line somewhere, so I had to hear her do it like for 10 minutes, and I wanted to murder her.
Well, she was into character.
So, Sean, this was better with Connect?
It was better.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Connect.
Thank you for getting us back on track there, Craigers.
Don't call me Craigers.
That's my buddy name. Craigers.
No.
Yes.
I don't know about that one either. I can't back you up.
And
on
you
that
call
one.
me DJ Double J.
DJ
okay.
HJ.
Oh.
I don't know.
Depending on how the rest of the show goes.
Hey,
Connect.
There's really you don't use it to play the game,
Is that how it's better?
but there's an archery little part to it,
Okay.
which I thought was really neat. Like there's and you shoot at targets and things like that. That's part of the Connect. So you stand in there and you hold your arm out like a bow.
Oh, so
And
it's
you
a whole
just
separate
ching,
like game?
ching. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's more of like a. I thought
It's
that
just
was
an
really
added-on
good.
mode.
Yeah, and you can just sit and
So
play
it's
that.
separate with Connect.
Yep.
It's
separate,
not
yeah.
better. It's
Yeah.
separate with
Separate. Because I was wondering if maybe they had like audio cues or something like that in that,
Yeah.
and I'm yelling at my Xbox, but nothing.
Going, hey!
I'm like, brave,
Listen.
brave. I'm brave.
I'm brave.
Brave.
And here's what's really surprising to
No,
me.
you gotta sound more like a little girl.
I'm brave.
There you go.
This is what's surprising to me is that it has a co-op option and it has that other thing, and there's no achievements tied to any of those.
That's weird.
You
yeah.
can play the whole single-player game, and that's where all the achievements are tied to. So that was kind of, when I was
Maybe that
looking
was
through
a-
them, I'm like, well, I don't have to do anything extraneous
Right.
to get those achievements. So
Yeah.
It's not gonna be hard work for me.
I don't have to get somebody else to come in here and play a level.
But I have a hard time
interesting.
keeping my left arm out
Yeah.
because of my shoulder, but I
yeah,
was
yeah.
still having a good time with it.
Excellent.
So, I mean, it's archery. I'll see that on Connect Sports down the road. So,
All right.
3.
Amazing Spider-Man. I'm going to talk a little quick about that.
A little quick.
A little
Yeah, I
bit
want to hear all
quick.
about this.
Eh.
Yeah?
It's okay.
It's the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, you know what is really weird to me? This doesn't make any sense. The game came out before the movie.
Nutella? I mean, come on.
Right?
I love Nutella.
I know, but it's weird, right?
It is weird. I
Little
don't
bit.
understand it.
I don't know why people like
It looks like it's plastic almost. I mean,
Also, the peanut butter and jelly thing mixed.
the goober.
Goober.
Oh,
grape,
Goober
yeah,
grape.
That's weird.
That throws
yeah.
me
I
off.
don't care for
Doesn't
that
make
so
any
much.
sense.
Yeah.
Can't do the two.
How do you get the jelly in there?
I don't know. There's. I'm
Don't
not
you
getting
put
time.
jelly in the refrigerator anyway after you open it?
Yeah,
But you don't want to put peanut butter in the refrigerator.
I wouldn't
after you
think
open
so.
Well, thanks for tuning in to Crust Cut Off, our sandwich podcast.
it. Goober Town.
We'll tune in
If
next,
you wanted to hear about Amazing Spider-Man, I'm sorry to tell you, that's not going to happen.
tune in next week. We'll be
Okay.
talking about pimento loaf.
We had more important things come up. Amazing Spider-Man. Here's what's weird, all right? The game came out before the movie came out.
Okay.
Like a week or two before.
Correct.
Tobey Maguire's in it.
The game is
That would have been weird.
the game is an epilogue to the movie.
Right.
That's weird to me because it seems like those are usually the kind of things that they're pretty guarded on spoiler wise
Yeah.
and like story wise, not letting you know what happens. You're playing through this game knowing how the movie ends at this point because there's still people around. There's things that have occurred, and there's relationships that are built based on the movie
But it
That's
can't.
bizarre.
that are now into the game.
But it can't be a prequel because then that would be before he's Spider-Man, since it includes the origin. And then they didn't want to do the same story because then it would just be exactly the same.
I guess it's
as
weird
the
to me
movie.
they didn't do an adaptation of the movie because usually that's what would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
It's odd.
People be like, "Oh, this spoiled the movie for me."
It kind of did for some people, I think, though, because of the fact that it's kind of telling you where the movie ends, so you kind of know what's going on in the movie now.
For some people, do you mean you?
No, because I don't give a shit about the Amazing Spider-Man movie. It
Yeah.
looks like a pile of shit.
Have you heard people complain about that?
I have.
Okay.
I saw some people because I didn't understand it because I had no interest in the movie. So I'm like, I have paid no attention.
Sure.
And that's when I saw people talking about it ruining things from the movie the week it came out because the movie didn't come out for another week yet.
Yeah.
And they're playing a game that tells you kind of where the movie leaves off. And it's a little odd.
Not to blame the victim in a
geez.
sense here, but if you know it's an epilogue to the movie, wouldn't you expect it to be in that vein?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's odd. I think it's an odd choice. I'm not saying that going in, like, I was like, oh, I want to remain spoiler free, so I'm going to play this game.
Right.
I think it's odd that they released the game that's an epilogue to a movie that they don't want any information out about, and they release the game a week before the movie comes out. That kind of tells you. I mean, isn't that odd on this part of the company?
Not really, actually. I mean, they do a lot of spoilers. I mean, everyone was so freaking out about, oh, here's this European version of the trailer that has like 3 2-second scenes that are different. You know, they're trying to find out a little bit more about the movie, and so, you know, this is not exactly the story of the movie, but giving you little tastes of what the movie has in store. It seems to fall in line with the way that they tease things out.
We will have to agree to disagree on this because I think you're entirely wrong.
Well, I
think it's odd. I think it's really weird.
I find it. I agree with you.
I mean,
I don't
I'm not
understand
saying-
why companies do things like that, because there's been, I mean, that games, toys, the whole. I'm a big nerd, so I know about that stuff. You know, when I buy an action figure,
We didn't argue.
and its heads come off before I see the movie, I know its head's going to come off. So I find that a little bit. I find that kind of stuff to be weird that they would put that stuff out, especially. I don't know.
Especially how guarded they are.
I wouldn't. Yeah, and I wouldn't try out a game like that.
Are they guarded though? I mean, didn't someone put together all the amazing Spider-Man trailers and it came out the 30 minutes of film?
Yeah, something like that.
So,
But that just-
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that's a good idea.
it's a terrible idea.
I was just trying to
I'm not either.
I was just trying to say, well, you know, maybe this is a reason why.
It's just weird that they would do
a
this.
reasoning behind it.
Especially with a brand new Spider-Man.
So we do agree though it's a bad idea.
I think it's a bad idea.
I don't think it's any worse than doing the actual story for it. I think it's better than doing the actual story. I think there are fewer spoilers than doing.
How about this? Maybe it should have come out the week after the movie.
Maybe you feel like it is worse spoilers because you're like, oh, the story's over, and here's this information, as opposed to the story is playing out, and I'm learning twice as much information as I would in the epilogue.
Maybe I don't know.
I mean, I think you could avoid spoil. This is what I was saying. I guess I think you can avoid direct spoilers easier by not adapting the story and by doing something after the story. Yeah. I mean, you're going to run into stuff that obviously obviously Peter Parker survived.
Yeah, but I mean, and again, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know what the movie's about. And I'm sorry to derail it, but this is interesting stuff to me anyway. I like these conversations. They were extrapolating stuff from the story too, saying, okay, this is what happened, and basically recapping what happened in the movie and kind of where they left off, and what they need to do, because this is a new story that's going forward, right? So they have to do that. And so for me, it's weird for me to now go into the movie and go, well, I know the end point and then how things get here because it's been recapped to me in the game. Not that I'm going to the movie, I don't care. So it's not for me that it ruined it. But if it was something I did care about, it would have been. Yeah. So I think here's what I guess I'm saying. It makes more sense to me if they would have put this game out a week after the movie came out. At least give like the hardcore base like time to see the movie. It's just the timing seems weird. That's all I guess I'm saying.
Because you know there's a hardcore nerd out there that was amped up for both the game.
You would think
and
it'd be
movie.
and you think it'd be their idea target.
And then
audience.
they got the game, and then they're like, "Well, wait, this is after the movie," and then they're still playing it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I would just say, why were you playing it then? If you're that hardcore of a fan and that uptight about the spoilers,
because they're hardcore,
and it's
because they're hardcore.
They are hardcore.
Parkour. All right, so about the game though, the game proper.
Oh, there's more to talk about.
There's a little bit more to talk about. You do have webs.
Spoiler:
you swing around the city. I don't know if you've seen this in a Spider-Man game before, but you swing.
The movie for me.
You swing around the city.
Come on.
I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if he does that or not.
I've seen the trailers. He does.
Stop ruining it. I'm avoiding the trailer so I don't get anything spoiled.
And MJ is blonde.
And thanks for tuning in to Spoiler Cast.
She's not MJ.
I know.
Come on now. All right, so I really don't. If you played a Spider-Man game in the past, you've kind of experienced what this game's doing, especially one that's based on the movies.
Yeah.
And not I can't remember the subtitles of them all, but the last couple of Activision ones that we played, where you played through the different timelines,
Web of Shadows, Shattered Dimensions,
which we loved. And those were a lot more comic based, and that was a little bit different experience than you're getting in these movies where they go for a lot more realism. So swinging around the city is still awesome. It's still a lot of fun. Story-wise, again, it's just there was an outbreak, and there's like these people that are infested with stuff or infected with things, and you're trying to like get a cure to that and cure these people. So it's really kind of not important. It's really more the actions that you're doing and going around and doing stuff, the Spider-Man stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking of a comic story now. Anyway,
you are? Mm-hmm. What story?
I'm not going to say it because if it's
somebody's going to steal it.
Because no, I'm saying I'm thinking of a comic story that actually happened that may be tied to this.
For the Spider-Man,
and I don't want to say it because you're going to freak out if that's actually what it is.
I hate Spider-Man, so you're not going to spoil anything about Spider-Man for me.
I mean, for the listeners.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thanks for looking out for them. And it's it's got the Spider-Man quips, which I can't stand, so I hate that all the time. And they were doubling up on those all the time, like with everybody saying the same things. The combat, though, is fun in this game. The combat is very Batman Arkham Asylum. Ooh. It's very borrowed from that, and it's obvious. But it's really well done, and it's fun in the Spider-Man element because you are flipping around, and your spider senses go off, and you can kind of hit I can't remember if it's the bumper button or one of the triggers. And so that's your cue to, dodge, and he'll kind of flip over everybody, and it's the same Batman style.
Yeah.
And then if you beat people down enough, you can do a finishing move, like with hitting the B button, and he kind of webs them up. And takes care of that person or knocks them out.
That's what they had for Wolverine Origins too.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah, so it's that same vein, and so the combat's fun. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun because you're bouncing around from different targets, and you're kind of going around the room, and you can hit. I believe it's the left trigger or the left bumper that is basically escape to the shadows again.
Sure.
So you web to like a corner of the room and kind of get out of there.
Right.
And they kind of lose track of you, and then you can pick it up again if you're kind of getting your ass handed to you, or if you just need to get out. Mm-hmm. And you can do stealth attacks like Batman, where you kind of crawl along the walls, and if you're over the people, you get them with your web and string them up.
Wolverine never had a zip line, so he couldn't do any of that.
Didn't have a zip line.
And they had a bunch of this stuff in Shattered Dimensions too.
Yeah.
Like, it was just kind of split amongst the Spider-Men.
Right. Yeah. So, it was much more like the old Noire style Spider-Man when you're doing those combats. That's what the combat is for this entire game almost. Mm-hmm. They do add in this, and I can't remember what it's called, web rush. That's what it is. The web rush is awesome because it's like a bumper button. You hit your right bumper when you're swinging, and everything kind of goes into really slow motion. And you can move the camera around and see points you can get to. Mm-hmm. And then if you let up on the button or hit it again, you basically go to that point.
Sure.
Oh.
So you can kind of pause what's going on and go to your location that you want to go to.
Super senses speed.
Yeah, and it's really awesome. It's a nice little addition.
That's cool.
It makes it easier to maneuver around, and it makes it easier to stop everything that's going on and kind of get to where you want to go. You need to use it in some instances where you have a time limit as far as this door remains open for this amount of time. Mm-hmm. So you kind of slow down everything and then zip to it without having to worry about swinging there and getting there in time. There's also a ton of collectibles around, which was fun, but there's too many of them in my opinion. There's these comic pages that you find throughout the city. Mm-hmm. So they're all over the city, and there's 700 of them, and there's nothing telling you where they're at. Like there's no option ever to have them show up on your map. So what happens is when you're swinging through, you'll kind of see a little thing pop up on your screen that says RB, because it's kind of focusing in on it, and you can RB to do that web rush to it. So whenever it pops up, it's just for a second because I'm swinging. So it's, I see it. So then basically it pops up and is off again, and I have to hit my button and everything slows down, and I'm like moving around the camera all over the place to see where it was, and then you can kind of see it shine. So then you can hone in on it and go to it. So that was fun when you get into a new area that has a ton of them.
Right.
And you're just doing that for like 20 minutes, like going around getting all these pages. Sure. And if you get certain amount of, I think there's things that unlock at different levels of the page collecting, but they unlock actual comic books that you can go into in the extras menu and like read these old comics. And there are all these old Spider-Man. They had some of the McFarlane ones in there, and some of the really old, like Amazing Fantasy, obviously, 15 and stuff. It's all mission based, so you're doing that. There's little side missions that pop up. Obviously,
it's like open world.
It is open world where you're going
city
through
or whatever.
Yeah, and you'll have your missions, and when you go to those, they'll start the mission, and then you kind of go back to the open world.
Yeah.
You have your little home base that you got to go to every once in a while to check up on somebody there. And other than that, you're just like breaking up random crimes that are on the street, doing other things, like doing these other little side missions. Obviously that normal stuff. I messed around with it a little bit. I think I don't know how much is there to it with the main story. I didn't get all the way through it.
So are you building swinging or magic swinging?
It is magic swinging, as always, yeah.
Well, not always. One of the movie-based games had building swinging.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're low enough, it's building swinging.
So you couldn't swing like over the skyline.
No, you can in this one.
yeah.
Because Erin's watching me and she's like, what are you swinging from? I'm like, exactly.
Clouds.
A
Exactly.
satellite.
Nothing.
You have hired
A bird.
You have hired the vulture to continually fly over top of you.
That Zeppelin up
Forced
there.
him to.
Yes.
Follow me around, Zeppelin. I need to get around the city.
The spider
Stars.
Zeppelin?
Stars.
Stars and rainbows. You swing from stars and rainbows.
Nine cat.
That's right. It was a big flying Pop-Tart cat. That's what it was that I was swinging from.
Tired of seeing those shirts in Vegas. God, everybody was wearing one.
And
But
the
me.
only, I would say this: it's kind of look-wise, it's a little mediocre. It's a little dated. That could have used a little bit of polish.
That's what I was.
It's
wondering.
okay though. It's okay.
Is this the same studio that did the other ones?
I think that it is that Beanox. Is that their name? I think I can't remember.
I don't remember it.
Activision.
It might have been the older.
It's the distributor.
I know.
I thought it was the people who did that Hulk game, the last one where you were jumping around New
The
York.
city. Yeah.
I can't remember though for sure. I can't remember. I'm sorry, I didn't do the proper research for it.
Because that's what I was wondering if it was more like like it's just a different skin on the old, the one Spider-Man where it was open world and you get to go around the
It kind of
city.
feels like that.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like
Yeah.
it. But so and then the only other problem that I had with the game is that the load times are horrendous.
Oh,
And I
really?
wasn't playing. I was playing it off the disc. I wasn't playing it with it burned to my hard drive. So I don't know if that would lessen it a little bit. But it is terrible load times in between the levels. Yeah, it was bad. When you're going around the city, it's fine. But when you start doing a mission or transitioning through missions, it got a little tedious just with the load times. So. But other than that, it was enjoyable if you just like swinging around the city and don't mind. I would see the movie first if you care,
Yeah.
because it is following the movie. And so, in that aspect, if you do it in that proper timeline, it's kind of awesome that, you get to see the movie and then get a game. To that point we were talking about earlier, I like that they didn't do an adaptation because you do get two stories out of it now,
Yeah.
where you can see the movie and then get something that continues on. It's just odd to me the release time, I guess, is
Yeah,
what my
sure.
point was.
Yeah.
It should have had editor's note right in the cover of the game.
And maybe they do. I didn't.
By the way, they are the people who did Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time, not Web of Shadows.
Okay.
Web of Shadows was before Shattered
Okay,
Dimensions.
gotcha.
Yes.
And who are they?
Beanox.
Okay, good.
You were correct.
Awesome.
Sounds
Nailed
like
it.
Sounds like a master of the universe.
Beanox.
Yes.
Yes.
Beanox, follow me.
Follow me, Beanox.
Villain or good guy?
Villain.
Be a good guy.
What?
It's a robot
Oh.
bumblebee.
Nah,
Beanox.
I'm
going
with
vin-
them for villain.
villain.
It's got
The
an X
Nox.
in there.
The X at the end
Exactly.
is the villain.
Like noxious.
You guys are stupid. Sorry.
Good comeback.
Beanox. I mean,
You
you
nailed
want
it.
that to be you want him to hang out with the masters. You don't want
He
to have
has
him be
like
a villain.
lethal stingers.
This Fistor was a good guy. Why can't you have Beanox be a good guy?
I'm not saying I wouldn't want him to be a good guy. I'm saying based on the name here. And
But Fistor, that sounds like a good guy.
I'll show you
that sounds-
Fistor.
that
Exactly.
sounds just lame.
Well,
It was a different time.
It was. Because then they had the one guy with the karate chop. He just came out. I forgot the name of him. Gold man with the gold hand.
I don't know. Are we done?
Yes. Because I
Beanox.
could talk about Masters of the
Bad
Universe
guy.
until the days of
But that doesn't make you right.
makes me awesome. But Beanox is that's a hero's name. Beanox.
It is totally not a hero's name.
No.
The X makes it bad.
Yeah.
Professor X. Yeah, you're right.
It's like noxious.
Oh, is that how it's going to be? You're just going to find like everybody with an X now that's a good guy. and
Racer
that's,
X. Oh,
So Professor X.
Racer X was meant to be a bad guy.
but he was a good guy.
But he was a good
But
guy.
he
Oh,
was
Jesus.
a good.
But he was
guy.
meant to be. But he was meant to be seen
A
by
lot
everyone
of people.
as a bad
lot
guy.
of people are meant to be people, but he was a good guy.
This is my favorite part of the show so far, by the way. I miss
Mr.
out.
He was
Continuity.
named Racer X so that people would think that he was a bad guy.
I understand that, but he was a good guy.
That doesn't make it a good guy name.
I've got the definitive thing on it. Signinpodcast.com. That is our website. You can find links to our Twitter, our Facebook, all the past episodes, the links to our forums, the other Pseudo Radio shows like 3 Die Block and the Pull List, which you gentlemen do.
Yes.
We'll see.
Which
The X battle will continue.
it's done here. You carry that shit to your own show. Don't start soiling ours.
236.
That's
Put
right.
a stamp on that right now.
And everybody
And
should,
Matt will be like, "What's going on?"
SVC.
and everybody should. Was 235 your last episode?
Yeah.
This last
That's
week?
why I said TPL.
Everybody should
236.
check out 234.
Oh.
For Craig.
Oh yes,
Craig's masterful.
most definitely.
I'm a little worried about you, but
I was playing Spelunky.
you were playing Spelunky. It was awesome. So I highly recommend it. Even if you're not into comics, you should check it out.
Yes.
Just for production value. And as a reminder of why we go on hiatus when I'm gone. And I don't let Craig take over the reins.
Whatever. It'd be like Tron.
Oh man.
Go into the game.
Yes.
I know. You've sold him. Now he wants me not to come next time.
It doesn't.
You can email us. Email us at comments@signedinpodcast.com. We'd love to hear from you. And if you find us on iTunes, please leave a review. There hasn't been one in a while. So if somebody out there is new to the show and you haven't left a review, just do it. Please. Is that almost on borderline begging right there?
A little bit.
Convince someone in your family who doesn't listen to the show.
Look, do it or don't. We don't care.
Hey,
is that better?
No, I care.
Don't want to be pathetic.
We had some people missing the show. Blue Hellman. He was like, "Hey, I'm buying some comics. Give me some heads up, but bring back the show." And I'm like, "Well, okay."
See? Nice.
I was like, "I'm not in control of that."
Leave a comment. Leave a review. Leave something.
Find us.
Next episode, you're going to play that new Summer of Arcade game.
Yes.
I'll probably play that too.
Deadlight's
coming out in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to that one a lot.
I can't remember what that's about.
I'm gonna play
about
Steel
awesome.
Battalion.
It's about awesome.
I'm going to play Steel Battalion.
And I'm
going to talk about it next episode and be like, I hit that fucking button. Like 8 times I hit it.
It wasn't a button. It's a plunger.
Challenge.
Well, that's probably why I'll fail.
Yeah, plungers are hard.
Did you need both hands?
I'm wondering.
Because usually when you do a plunger, you push down with
I know,
both
but they
hands.
show him reaching with one.
Okay. Well, no, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
That was a legitimate question. That wasn't me trying to belittle you.
I wish I had Jedi skills. I would.
But I'm going to do it
that
with
shit
both hands, and then I'll
down.
belittle the fuck out of you.
I'm only putting it on your Connect, and I already hear about your Connect being so terrible, so it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, yeah. That's not good. All right. Anything else?
There's
that's
plenty of
that's
stuff.
No, we're done. I'm shutting everybody down. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.